Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table podcast. My name is Paul Berserkro. I'm Batman Shelley, your moderator here on the podcast. This is a podcast we've been doing for about 9 years now. Oh, coming up on the 10th year. 10th year, I think, as of January, possibly as of March, but it's like within the first of next year. So we'll be yeah. We talk about Star Citizen. I bring people from all over the Star Citizen community to talk about the game. We talk about lore, news, and more. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a speculation episode because so it's not really speculation. We know these, but some of these are probably never been spelled out for some folks. So and everyone loves a good ship stream, ship one. So. All right.
Probably why I've been on 3 times in like less than 2 months, right? Okay,
yes. Yeah. Yes. Hey, listen, people see ships, they click the freaking stream, all right? They click the videos. They love that. So, with that being said, we'll just start with you there, Execute. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you?
I'm one of the Infrunners. We basically talk about ships. We help people upgrade their ships for cheaper. I'm really bad at the self-promotion shit.
Yeah. You can find me there too. I show up there when I can.
Space Tomato, Loken, Algrid. Bop's starting to turn up. Grim will turn up every once in a while as well. I think Grim's in chat.
Yeah.
Good to see him.
Grim would have been here, but he had family obligations. So.
Yeah. So we try to bring on as many people as we can. Expat will turn up, and Pistol Pete, and a bunch of other people. It's a real community affair, and we've kind of built a good team there that all works together. We've got a whole bunch of people that run the Discord and stuff like that. So it's becoming a community. That's what I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to just be a one-man band. I wanted it to be, and I think Paul, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's things that we've learned from each other that have cross-pollinated between almost every Infrunners shows and stuff. Like, used to do these shows as like 5 or 6 people, and you've dropped it back down to 3.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I've learned as well. Like 3 is like the golden number, in my opinion, for these discussion things. It just works really, really well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then we've got a new face, not new face of Star Citizen, but new face of the Captain's Table. I met him at Quantum Vegas, Mr. Dusty Star of was it Thrusters and Dust, right?
Yes.
Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube at Thrusters and Dust, and my channel is all about upgrading ships and understanding ship design and how the space is being used. I've been waiting patiently for engineering to come online. I create a lot of art for the game. I have a lot of factory service manuals that folks download. I think we've had almost 3,000 people downloading manuals now over on the Patreon, and then got all kinds of stuff over there. But my main thing is engineering, and really focused on getting the most out of your ship.
Awesome.
Can I ask, Dusty, how long it takes you to do one of your videos? Like, they look fairly
it takes about
edited.
a month.
Yeah,
my videos take about a month to produce between the writing and then, obviously getting all the footage can be a real challenge sometimes in the game engine. And then creating all the manuals, the art, the animations, it comes out as a package. So when people come to watch the video, they also can download 3 different manuals plus posters now for the ship. So, and everything's free over there. So it's
like your subscriber count to video count is kind of high for the low amount of videos. You mean like I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's about less than 20.
So I started the channel, I started uploading on the channel back in September of 24, and around October 11th was my first video I published, and it flopped bad. I didn't know what I was doing. I was creating,
like most channels, you can see how the thumbnails improve.
Yeah.
You started on the 6th one, like on the 6th one, and you just done that same one again and again after that.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, once I figured out that, what happened was I was making videos about things I wanted to see the devs do in the game, right? I wanted to see the SRV have a job. I wanted to tow ships to, derelict ships over to the scrap yards. I want scrap yards to be a busy place where people are upgrading and working on ships. Like I have this vision of what I'd love to see in the game. So I started making videos about what I would want the devs to do or change to lean in the direction of Thrusters and Dust, the ship restoration shop in the verse kind of thing. And then I hurt my knee really bad. I couldn't walk. I was stuck, and I was just daydreaming one day, and I was like, you know what we need is like a factory service manual like you would have for a car, but for the ships in Star Citizen. So I just started making one. And that ended up turning into a video, and I made the Gollum video. That was the first factory service manual video that went out on May 6th. And that's when the channel blew up. That video went crazy. And then the RAF video got me over 3,000 subs from the one video. And like it's just been going crazy. I'm almost to 10,000 subs
Ever
now.
look at a
Since
wreck?
May is really when it kicked off.
Have you so when you do a video, because again, I didn't really discover your stuff until you and I started talking before the show.
Yeah.
Do you talk about it on the show? Do you have a character personality? How do you kind of present it?
Yeah, so the way I present is, I don't know if you ever seen some of the History Channel TV shows like Counting Cars with Counts Customs and the Car Shop, or American Pickers with Mike Wolf. And one of the things I found is that like watching Mike Wolf on American Pickers, they would go into this old barn and find this rusty old piece of metal from a motorcycle, and he would be so excited and so passionate about that rusty piece of metal that I was too. I was like, wow, that's the best piece of rusty metal ever. Like I would go along with it. And that became how I wanted to present the ships in Star Citizen. In my mind, every ship is somebody's favorite ship. And I need to figure out why. That's kind of like my internal mission as I dive into one of these factory service manuals.
Challenge accepted. I will find the ship that everybody hates.
We already know what it is. It's called the Rock DS, and nobody likes it. So
I'd say the Steel's up there, but I know Paul likes the Steel. So yeah.
I love the Steel. It is the most Drake ship of all Drake ships. It is absolutely just, someone said, we could do drop ships. Everyone has a drop ship. We'll just stick some seats in the back and some guns and call it a day. Not even update the freaking what is it? The life support systems. Just whatever. Have them have helmets on. It's short distance. Awesome.
Yeah, so in the latest video I did, I actually made the crafting machine work in the Clipper for the video. So that's
nice.
a lot of the stuff. I do a lot of editing and a lot of art and try to create the fan fiction around the ship in a way that
I've noticed that anyone that kind of visualizes what people are kind of dreaming about does pretty well. So Triss and Grim, they both do that type of stuff as well. And people it took me a long time to realize, and it was something that I learned through Infrunners and talking with other people. There are some people that can't envision things, they can't visualize like other people can, and I didn't know that because I just thought everyone could do it.
Yeah. Because you're an artist.
And so but and they can't, and so like it's really cool that an artist can use their vision to share that vision with other people, and I think that's why it's really popular, especially those of us that can't do it. It's kind of cool actually. So yeah, I'm gonna sit there and watch a bunch of your stuff after the show. But yeah, I just want to ask.
Cool, thanks.
So I knew a bit more. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool because I think we gave a couple of those of your manuals away at Quantum Vegas, if I remember correctly.
No,
the printed ones. I remember.
I wasn't super involved yet. I just met you guys for the first time, and I was fanboying so bad at Quantum Vegas. I'll tell you. I was walking. I was there with my wife, and I have a bad habit of collecting Star Citizen memorabilia. So like, I had bought on eBay a Cloud Imperium Games employee shirt.
Yeah, I remember you.
I had my wife. I had my wife wearing it.
Oh yeah.
And we were sitting at the bar, and then
she loved that.
Red Monster walks by and looks right at my wife and sees her shirt. It just starts talking to her like maybe she worked for CIG. So I didn't think that was gonna happen. But then I met
Mm.
Red Monster, and we ended up doing a collab on the thing. And then I met Grim. I met
Good.
some other folks from the
Mm.
community. I met Sandy, and
Mm.
I got autographs. I was fanboying back. Then I saw Paul, and I was like, "Oh, Astro Historian's
Yeah.
here! Oh my god!" I
It's just
ran
all
over, had to get a picture with him.
we're all just people. That's the other thing I'd say when you, Paul.
Yes.
We're all just people.
We're all just
Like,
nerds.
yeah,
We're
like,
all just giant
even
nerds.
even the people at CIG are just people, man. Like
Yeah.
that like it really freaks me out because I come from a very small place, and just people come up to me. It was a bit full on, but I like I want to be friendly to people and stuff like that. But it can be a bit intimidating, especially when you're not used to it. But yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
just be friendly, just be yourself. That's what I'd say.
Exactly. Yeah, it was
And
super fun meeting everybody.
if
I
it
had a
shoes
great
ever on the
time.
other foot, you'll know what I'm talking about very quickly.
Oh yeah, once people start getting
yeah.
to know you and you show up at an event and be like, "Oh wait, are you Dusty Star?" I heard like you. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I told you this story, Dusty, where someone at I've heard the story. Told the story before though. I was at a Citizen Con. I was hanging out with. I'm gonna say it was Pops or it was. It might have been. I forgot who I was. It was just. It was Meyer. I was just sitting there with Myers and we were just talking. And someone walks by as I'm talking to Meyer, stops, reverses, and goes, "Are you the Astro Historian?" And I knew immediately. He didn't see me. He was just heard my voice.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, and I stopped and I looked at him like, "Did you just recognize me from my voice?" And like, that's how I know you've watched far too many of my videos.
Right.
If you recognize me from my voice.
Yeah.
That also freakishly happened at CitizenCon. You know, John Citizen and Sir Piggles.
Yeah.
They both got recognized by their voice.
Their voice. Whew.
And it was quite funny, but because no one really knew who they looked at that point.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. But yeah, I found that really funny. And they're just normal community people. Well, you know, they don't really do content. They sometimes do content with me, and they'll, you know, I think, I don't know, have they ever done any content with you? I know Space used to do some with John.
Yeah.
And Pickles has been on with Space once or twice. So, you know, not a lot, but it's just kind of funny that you hang out in this community and we all get recognized. And it goes the other way too. Like you'll eventually recognize a name. And it's really weird when you go to a bar, Citizen, and someone starts talking to you like they've known you all this time, and then you eventually read their name tag and it says their online name, and you're like, "Oh,
I know that name."
That's the opposite for us, because we don't recognize your face or the way you sound, but we recognize your name, and it's like, "Oh my god, I know who that is." He's an asshole.
All right, I'm gonna rope this back in, get into the topics at hand, but it's good. So for those of you who've never watched this before, we've now done introductions. We're going to talk about the topic, which is the ships of 2026. We kind of know what's already going to come out with the 2026, and we have some theories otherwise. So let's start. I'm going to start with you, Dusty, and I'm going to take us into the three guests right there. So I've got the picture up there, and I'll try to change it as I can. The Auxilia. So what are your thoughts on the Auxilia? We know a little bit about it. We know that it's a sort of like the ground version of the Clipper in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on it overall?
I guess I have a question. Is it similar to the Spartan frame?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Atlas
chassis platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of see that resemblance. So this would be a crafting station. Do you think it'll have a med bed like the Clipper, or just a
they said
crafting station?
they said it's going to be a tier 2 med bed.
Tier 2.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And I had a lot of military people that we talked about, because it looks like it's got a trailer, or at least a higher height. And in real life, there is one that has a higher height, and it's so the doctor or the nurse can stand up in it. You're not like crouched down, because you've got to be able to stand up to be able to operate properly. So yeah, I reckon the medical is clearly probably at the back, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting to me that they combine med beds with crafting, and I don't really understand the correlation outside of the danger of collecting the materials, but
because you can craft meds, you can craft drugs and medicine.
No, you can craft prosthetics.
Oh, that too. Both of them. You can
okay, so that's the relationship. So we're going to be crafting prosthetic arms.
But you can
and
also craft
legs.
drugs.
Yeah,
You can
and-
craft. You more than likely craft drugs as well.
so like you can replace your own med gel as you go through. So
Bandages, needles, all that type of stuff. You know, and even if there's certain things that you can't craft, like just say for example, for some gameplay reason they decided you can't make medgel, but you still might need a container or a badge, a bandage or something like that. So there will be things to be able to do with it.
Yeah, I never really picked up that association, but that's a really interesting
gonna
point.
make it a little bit
When I
smaller,
think of
but-
crafting, I was thinking of base building. I think more
Yeah.
like building
Paul?
things for your base in
Yes.
your home.
Just for today, move it to the front. Just put it in the front and make it as big as you can, and just cover up the bottom of chat.
Oh, actually, I actually
Okay,
have an
don't
idea.
mind.
I have a solution for this. Hold on.
All right. He's gonna do it live, people. I'm a bad influence.
No, I just have an idea, so we can do this.
All right.
There you
Is
go.
there anything else you want to add to the Exilia while
Yeah,
Paul's working that out?
While you're thinking about now that you kind of have a little bit more information on it, what do you think about it? Like, who do you think is going to use it? That kind of thing.
I don't know. It sounds like a field hospital more than a crafting ship, and I guess in my head, I wanna make things that aren't medications, and in prosthetics, I'm thinking about crafting
Still,
other things. I don't know. I played a lot of No Man's Sky, so the crafting and blueprint system in there is very extensive. So when I think crafting, I think my head goes that direction.
I still think like being a small crafter like the Clipper to be able to make guns and small components too. So I think it really becomes a very support orientated vehicle, both medically and taking care of the other people around them. So like making component parts, small ships, all small vehicles, all that type of thing. So I can see it being quite a boon to any ground force that it's working with as their major or support craft. That's kind of what it's telling me. That
I think
Yeah.
I think the thing, and I'll bring us back real quick to this, so we can talk a little bit better. But I do think that it's in the name, Auxilia. I think the whole idea of this is that you could stick this on like a what is it called? The Asgard, something like an Asgard or a Hercules, and now suddenly you have high medical capabilities and crafting capabilities. So now it's designed as like a ship, a vehicle that can improve a ship that normally doesn't have those capabilities. So
I'm just seeing. You remember when the Pisces CDR came out, then the Nursa came out, and everyone's like, "Oh, get out of here, Pisces! Nursa, come in." Now it's
Yeah.
get out of here, Nursa! Income auxiliary.
Yeah.
Auxilia. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, let's go for the next one.
Do you think it'll have a larger crafting station than the Clipper? As far as like, is there like different sizes?
There are, but I don't think it's got any need to. I think it's clearly designed at the ground, and a lot of the ground components are technically like a size 0 or whatever. So it'll probably tailored at literally just being the smallest crafting one you can, because again, it'll probably be able to help small ships as well.
All right, the next one I'm pulling up is, and I'll have the larger one for us to look at. Have it here. Is this? I'll start with you, X. The Forge. This Solid Outland Forge. What are your thoughts?
This has been paused. That was the first thing I was going to say. But it really has expanded a lot, hasn't it? It's got a fabricator now, or a finery, and there was one other thing that I've completely forgotten that it had as well. But the extraction out of the ground. That was the third thing.
Ground extraction.
So it literally is almost well and truly a small pioneer. In almost every sense of the word. I do think that there will be variants of this eventually. Knowing the size of the ship that it is, which is a medium. If you look at the other medium ships, they all tend to have variants. The Clipper's the only one at the moment that kind of really doesn't, but I think that alludes to the fact that there are some coming, and I can point to why. Just lots of free space in that thing. But getting back to the Forge, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think more manufacturers need more ships, and Consolid Outland, suppose they're meant to be one of the major manufacturers, but we've really got very few ships for them. And they're in a really weird place with having a few small ships and this really massive one. We clearly need some to bridge the divide, don't we?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull us back to two guys real quick. Giving you a chance for people to watch and see what we're talking about. Dusty, your thoughts on the Forge?
I'm excited about this one because I don't have a Pioneer in my hangar, and I was hoping for a small. I had a feeling, I guess, that they would make a smaller version first to kind of learn from, and obviously there's a lot of complexities with this ground harvesting, landing gear, and refining and crafting and base building. So I was thinking it was going to be called the Homestead, and it was going to be like a tiny ship that could do all of those things, and then they would eventually build a medium, and then they would bring the Pioneer.
We had a Frontier working title, a working name. So yeah, similar name. The Forge, though, you can see why they've gone the Forge because of the refining aspect that it was meant to be its primary thing.
I messaged you X, by the way, for the next one, so I can because I don't have.
Need me to send you an image?
I need the MFC because I don't have the MFC image that they silhouette.
I will just send you the entire folder, all of them in 4K from, if it'll let me.
Now, this is the one that we may not see next year, right? As they said, because it's been on paused because of I'm guessing because of the ground mining is the issue. They need to get that working before they release it.
Well, I think we need the new planet tech too before this even makes sense, because the resource nodes and the places, like, I don't think the existing planet tech supports it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The ground mining stuff, I think is like probably a big one. I'm excited for it only because I think it is sort of the Clipper is sort of the introduction of what I think CIG is moving towards, and I think the Auxilia and the Forge are really examples of like where CIG wants to go and where they're getting excited about content, game stuff that isn't directly related to combat. Anyone can tell you the Clipper is not a combat ship. it is not a combat ship. But
I think it would be. You know how we got the Golem just before Invictus last year? I think it would be almost a no-brainer at this point to expect a Golem-like ship, so a starter ship, that does crafting. I think that's almost a no-brainer at this point. You got crafting coming online in March, and in line with that coming online, because Invictus is literally the next month.
Yeah,
I think it's almost a no-brainer at this point. Because then you've essentially got this, you got the Clipper, you got the auxiliary that's more than likely coming in Invictus because it's a ground vehicle and it's military. You can see where I'm going here, right? And then you add the Forge and possibly another large ship. You can see that you get, and then all you need is like the Pioneer and maybe another large ship in there, and you've literally got the entire lineup of fabricator or a fabricator of every size. Is what I'm trying to say.
What does that include the Gray Cat MFC? Is that what that one is? Also a crafting version of the
MFC? So that would be so that's a ground fabricator, but you are correct. Yeah, it gives you one of every size. But also it looks like they're teeing fabricators up with generalists as well. So you'll probably find that you get one that's just a fabricator and one that is also the versatility, right? So what are some benefits to that? Do you have, what's one of the biggest problems in the Clipper in your book?
Me or Dusty?
No, both, either of you. It's really obvious to me what that ship. It's a jack of all trades, master of none. They literally said it themselves, right? So it's only got 12 SCU of cargo. So say, for example, you made a medium ship that has a fabricator and then has a shit ton more cargo. Well, that's actually better for fabricating, is it not? Because you've got all these supplies there to take in, and you can store more stuff that you've crafted. It's already a better fabricator ship straight off the bat, because it's not picking and choosing.
Yeah, the thing that stumped me with the Clipper is that where the crafting is located versus the cargo bay, it kind of. It requires that the materials magically transfer from the cargo bay to the crafting machine, right? Like there's no.
That'll change. that'll change.
You would
Give it
think they
time.
might put the crafting machine in the cargo area, which would make a little more sense.
It's
When you're
Drake,
trying
buddy.
to
It can't
put your
make
head around the
sense.
magic.
It's not allowed to make sense. It's Drake. It's not allowed to make sense.
Mhm.
But you're actually right though. But they do have that elevator that's up the front, so you're literally meant to take it from the cargo bay back to that elevator, then go up, and then take it into the crafting room.
Mm.
So yeah, it's the same reason they made that door, because they knew that they were going to want to have to feed its own components down to the fabricator.
Yeah,
To repair them and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a part of its vertical design.
hmm
It was always going to have to make accommodations, and it clearly it has. But again, you look at that Clipper, I'll be really surprised if we don't get variants for that thing. There is some really weird allowances in that ship. So the example I like to give is the medical room. So you've been in the CR, I take it, Dusty?
Yeah.
Right. So you'll know that there's a terminal and the goo is literally right below it, right? So it's just this one little nice, neat one. Then tell me why in the Clipper they've got the terminal on one side of the room with the screen, and the goo literally has another terminal to put the goo in.
Yeah,
That's
I
wasted
noticed there's
space.
a separate unit for that.
Yeah,
It's
almost
because there's heaps of extra space in that ship in weird spots.
it's got to be a different. Yeah, as you said, it's got to be used for modularity. It's got for another variant, I should say, not modularity.
And they've been varianting the shit out of everything. Look at the Apollo. The Apollo essentially grew from 43 meters to 61 or 64 or something like that, and it didn't need to. But the variant needs it. So whatever that variant is, did you see the sneak peek yesterday, bro?
The Hermes?
The Hermes, possibly?
Yeah, the Hermes, possibly, most likely Hermes, yeah. But again, you would agree that it looks very Apollo-ish, but it's clearly not an Apollo because it's got differences. So it's clearly an Apollo variant that we've known about in the files for a couple of months now, right? Which was the Hermes. But why did they make it a variant? Well, because it's easier to make a variant and make more money. So they're clearly now, every time they make a new ship, look at all the new ships that we got this year, they've all got a variant, or they've got a variant coming. The Golem got a variant in the Ox, the Apollo, and I'm sure some of the bigger ships won't. I don't think you might not see a Perseus variant, but you might eventually see a Perseus kit down the line, and we saw that with the Idris, for example, when it came out, they added extra kits over above. So I'm fully expecting when the Kraken and the Privateer comes out, that there's probably another kit there that you can turn into something else, because that's how they make fresh money.
Yeah,
I did notice a kit for the Kraken already in the store.
Yeah, that's the Privateer.
Okay, yeah, just a base Kraken to Privateer. Is that what that does?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And again, so you kind of can't upgrade into CCUs above $1,000 because USA has these money laundering laws. But what you can do is sell a kit to modify what you have, and that's why they call them kits, and that's why they do it that way, because it gets around that money laundering law.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next the next one. I'll show this off, and I'll start with you on this one, Dusty. Or no, X, because Dusty started the last one. Oh no, X started the last one.
No, I started the last one.
Yeah. So, Dusty, your thoughts on the NFC? We talked about it a little bit before.
Yeah, so this is the little crafting one. Is this the one I'm hoping is for base building tier 0?
Possibly.
I really hope.
You see that.
Yeah, I'm trying to going back and watching the CitizenCon base building presentation. The size of the buildings versus the size of the crafting machines, something in my brain is not clicking. How you're going to use those machines that look so small to make some modular home component that looks pretty massive in comparison.
I can tell you how.
Well,
it's
drones. You've got fabricators and you've got base building drones. So you'll notice the little pod that comes out, right? The one they showed at CitizenCon, not this year but last, that had drones come out of it. So if there's no drones that comes out of this vehicle, it's just a crafter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or as they call it, a fabricator. So you need a drone to come out of it for it to do base building. Now they didn't say anything about base building relating to this vehicle, so I think it is just and it's also in the name, MFC. So it's just most likely just a fabricator.
Mobile Fabricating Center or whatever. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, I would not be surprised if you eventually see ones that are called a fabricator, but they also have a drone. They haven't. Their verbiage has been a little bit all over the place, to be honest. I don't think they've nailed down.
Okay. So when you say fabricator, you're not talking about crafting. That's something separate from crafting.
It's crafting.
So their stance, right, when they first talked about it, was manufacturing, and under manufacturing there were two branches. There was fabrication and crafting, right? And was it fabrication? It was base building and crafting. God, I can't remember now. It's been, long story short, there was one and then the other two were under it. And basically one was for base building and one was for like building furniture and building items and stuff like that. And that is the two differentiators. And I just can't remember my verbiage because it's been a hot minute and I've mixed them all up.
The basic way of explaining it is that base building is not the same as fabrication and crafting. It's its own separate thing, but you use crafting and manufacturing to help with space building. So like as chat's talking about the CSV FM, which
I did send you a I did send you a photo of that. I did send you a photo of that deliberately because it relates to what we were talking about here. So I think the MFC is just a fabricator because the FM exists. So basically it's the base builder and this one's the crafter.
So let me pull this up again so we can take a look at it. This is the CSV like whatever, but the CSV FM is the one that instead of the back that as we see there, it has like a drone. I think it's like a small or a medium drone on the back that will go up and then go.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And
I'm just going to call mine the word salad. Who ever came up with these acronyms upon acronyms? CSV FM. What a word salad! Absolutely worst name of any vehicle I've seen. Shocking. Sorry.
Yeah. So, did you guys play the game when drones were actually in? Because like I
Yes.
started later, so I've never seen like even like the repair drones they used to have.
They didn't really do much. They just kind of floated around and shot lasers.
Yeah.
They weren't really that fancy.
They were reuse of camera drones because they were actually camera drones from the Squadron 42 trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that said, though,
assets, but yeah,
how they repaired is probably very similar to how they're going to build because they just had them like little helicopter, and they just had a beam going from A to B, and that's kind of all I'm expecting with the first person base building is they're just going to fly over roughly to the area where they're going to build, and they're just going to shoot a beam, and the building or whatever is just going to, you know how you see something build from the bottom, and it's essentially just the whole object is there, but it's just a transparent map that unreveals what it is.
So I'm going to ask you both a question for this next one, and I'll start with you, X, on this one as you're talking. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
so good.
Those three ships that we saw, the vehicles we saw, all of them had crafting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is next year the year of crafting?
Yes. Well, tier 0.
Tier 0. Okay.
I think they hope to have base building by the end of next year. I really do. I think it. Like, if you listen to what Tom Cruise said, John Cruise. God, I'm so bipolar today. Yeah, exactly, man.
It's okay. Well, just no one tell John that you called him Tom Cruise.
Someone would meme that. That'd be pretty funny, actually. That'd make a good shirt, wouldn't it? Like just John Cruise sliding in, like in
like risky business. Yeah,
risky business. Yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll make. Actually, I should write that down somewhere. Anyway, right. Yeah, basically that. I've actually lost my train of thought. He was talking about it'll be a very expansive year, right? Yes. He used the word expansive, and people took that to mean expanse, right? No, I think he just means that there's a lot of gameplay coming, and it's been sitting in the wings for a while. Paul, you cover the patch notes and all that stuff. I know, anyone that's kind of up to know that there's things there that they've talked about. I think Bounty Hill was like 2-3 years ago now, and just been sitting there waiting. You've had the data running stuff where they showed off all the terminals and shit like that. That's just sitting there. The Legionnaire got pulled back because of that reason, so we're probably going to see the Legionnaire next year as well because it's just been sitting there for so long, and it's obviously got ties to hacking and boarding. I just think there's a lot of gameplay coming in, and base building really, if you're looking at 1.0, that's a big seller. Like that's a showstopper, right? And this year was the year of stability, and let's be honest, that 4.5 patch, my frame rates went up. Don't know about you boys.
Oh yeah.
They went up. It's smooth as shit.
It's not necessarily,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say it's necessarily all better. It's just more consistent across the board. So like you're instead of getting these drops where you're like you're in a city to get 30 FPS and versus like 170 FPS in space, it's like you're getting 50 FPS at cities, and you're getting like 150 FPS, and like everything's getting smoothed out. So
yeah, they've softened and rounded off the corners and that type of thing. But now we've got that kind of stable foundation. Now you can start adding some gameplay on top, right? And it's what me and Grim and you and God, almost everybody I've talked to has been waiting for, is more gameplay. And I even think things like medical and the Apollo that they put in, I think they'll try and expand that. I think anything that's already in the game, they will try to expand or improve as best they can. But if you think about crafting as well as base building, right, they both have the same requirements. You have to extract something out of the game, aka mining or salvage that is already there. You then have to refine it, and then you have to be able to use it in crafting, right? So base building has the same fundamental requirements as crafting. So why wouldn't you try and do both? One before the other, though, obviously, because obviously one's smaller than the other. And then obviously refining, I think the expanse is given as well. But I also think that they're also going to try and, because they're bringing in base building, and I've said this to you many times, Paul, is why wouldn't they also try to take the effects of, even if it's tier 0, what's in the station, and allow to use that in the building, so you don't have to go all the way back and forward, right? So that's what I think we're getting at the bare minimum. But then you put that into the expanse, same thing again. Do you really need the active gameplay of refining? No, you don't.
No.
You just need the ability to have it somewhere modularly, mobile. Sorry, not modularly, mobile. So if it's in a ship, or you can build a building and put it in. So again, if you've got like a small CSVFM, like a small drone builder, and the ability to build a room and then build your own refinery, you see what I mean? Like it's one less.
It's still timed.
Disconnect.
It's still just a timer, but it's a timer that's based off of your location rather than a random location.
And I think another thing that talks to the refining, sorry to steal the air, but is the Galaxy.
Yeah,
it's one of the Galaxy's modules, so it's kind of telling me that it's on the cards.
Yes.
Right? More medical, more refining, and whatever that manufacturing module ends up being, whether it's fabrication or base building, it's literally on the cards because they're at least looking at it, right? You'd have to agree with that somewhat.
And CIG won't release the Galaxy without the modules they sold. So like
that might be a good segue. Do you want to talk about the Galaxy?
Let's talk about. Well, before we talk about the Galaxy,
into that.
I'm going to ask Dusty the same question. Question. Dusty, do you think next year is the year of crafting? You said tier 0, but like.
Yeah, I think crafting for sure. My hesitation with some of the other stuff that Execute was just talking about on refining is how long will it take to get the new planet tech across all the systems, replacing all the existing planets? Because I feel like for even base building tier 0 and setting up extraction points, like there's so many new bones in the new planet tech for all of those systems to work. But if that slows it down,
so the last time they did it, it took 3 guys 2.5 months to do the whole of Stanton.
The question, though,
so if
is
it as quick as before?
Well, it's not just as quick as before, because remember, it's not just replacing the planets, because they also want to do that new settlement system that they developed. Remember the new point of interest system? So I am imagining that they don't want to redo the old planets until they have that system in place. And once they have that system in place, it'll be easier for them to do it. That's one of the reasons why Nyx 1 is a new system, that's a new planets being terraformed, is because they don't have the settlement system that they would have normally. And it's a sort of a virgin land.
Do they hold back base building, though, until everything is running on the new
question. Yeah,
that's the question. Is it compatible with the older system, or does it require the newer system? That's exactly it. But I do remember they had the editor, and they were able to level out the terrain. So can you make it so that when you put down a building, it just automatically levels it out under the terrain? Like if that's the thing, then well, I'd imagine that wouldn't be that hard to code when they already had the tool that leveled. So I don't see a need for it to really hold it up, to be honest with you. It just maybe it's a little tweaks.
I could see them. Someone in chat's pointing this at. They could easily just do it only in Nyx 1. So like you can only
Right.
like you can't base build in Pyro or Stanton yet. You can only build in these places. Why? Because we just haven't the tech yet. So this is a place you can build.
Because Chris Rabbit
Does the
said
new
so.
planet tech give us bigger planets than we have now, or smaller, or the same? Does
Probably
anyone know?
The same,
Probably
just
the
more
same.
detailed, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just more that like again, I remember watching it with a couple of people, and they were saying like the two things that really stood out to us that were very like technological people or tech savvy people there was two. The obvious one was the grass. Everyone can look at the grass and go, "Wow, that's the most amazing grass I've ever seen."
Grass.
Yeah, but the second one that not everyone picked up on was the cliff tech. That was I'd never even seen anything like that. That was really impressive because again, you obviously once it gets to a certain angle, they've just gone right now. Put 3D models in, and that was like you go back and look at some of that video, and you have anyone that knows what they're talking about. And let's be honest, most of us here do. And I'm not just talking about here; I'm talking about the whole community because like everyone's really been brought up to speed by following this game. It's really good. Will essentially tell you it's just really you just don't get cliffs like that. How many games like you go back to? I remember when I was in high school, like and people would carry on about these massive rolling hills, but they were really just a flat texture that had all been mesh morphed and all that, and they just no one's ever tried to do cliffs. But they were always
not
put in by
cliffs.
hand. Yeah, but and definitely not procedurally generated.
No,
right? So they've put some serious work in to pull this shit off, and I really like. Some of those shots were just breathtaking. They were easily the most detailed procedurally generated worlds I'd ever seen. And they, how many times? And I don't mean to pick on a game, but I'm just going to pick No Man's Sky. And some of the stuff in that was completely buggy and whacked out because the developers just pressed go and got it to make everything and didn't really care about how things looked. I think that's the difference is they're going to go back and try to look as much of a planet as possible to make sure it's at least polished.
I mean, like No Man's Sky does what it does well, but it's not really focused on realism. It's focused on generation and gameplay stuff. And it seems like CIG is very much on because they even talked about it, like where rocks will pool in places they normally would. And so you have more realistic sort of debris. And as you said before this, most people would do cliffs with like photos. Like they take a photo, they'd scan locations, and they put them in, or they'd have copy pasted like they have a handful of versions. They'd copy paste them in a very specific area in a very hand painted location because to make it look good. Otherwise, it was just procedurally generated, and it was just like, oh look, it's the same sort of thing. So, but I also agree. I think next year is the year of crafting. All of this stuff proved that CIG has been planning on having crafting in, and they've been barreling towards it very quickly.
I wouldn't call it the year of crafting. I'd call it the year of gameplay.
I would say the year of features. Gameplay maybe, but features is the big one.
They're definitely trying to get more. Okay, let me rephrase this. They're trying to get more gameplay in than they've ever put in before because they want it to look good when Squadron lands.
Yes, we'll talk more about this next podcast because next year is the year in review and the look forward. So
okay. Well, I think next year's gonna be interesting because I think a lot of the dates are gonna move. Like I think the end of the year or the plan is to get it to hit whatever month it's going to land in, right? And you and I have talked about October, where traditionally the big landing patch is December. So it's been rolled forward by 2 months, right? We're getting Castra next year. So the pressure is on. Next year is going to be really interesting for dates and times and stuff. Like we've rolled into these established patterns over like the last decade, and I think it's about to all be broken. And I don't mean in a bad way. I just mean not what we're usually expecting. So I'm going to find next year very unpredictable, I think is a word I would use as well, Paul. I think you'd find that would be, we use patterns a lot to work out what they're going to do. But when they break their patterns, it makes it almost unpredictable. I did send you a link, by the way, Paul, if you wanted to play it in the background, but it's entirely up to you. Did you mute yourself, Paul?
Yes, I did. I was typing things out.
Oh, there you go.
But this is what I was referencing.
About you, Dusty. I just thought he was a rude asshole. Right? This is rude.
This is what I was referencing with grass. And here's chat so you can hear it. This is the funny part.
Mm. Waiting for the punchline. It hasn't arrived yet.
The chat can hear it. You can't.
Oh, right.
Let me see. I'll play it up there on the screen so that people can see it. I had something else up there.
Yeah, there were two shots for me in this. There was the grass fields, which is just are insane.
Yeah.
And there's one particular scene where it kind of goes up the hill, and it has all these kind of plants and outcrops. And it was just like that's when I was like, wait a minute. And then I went, that's a 3D model thing. What? And how is that there? Like that's not being placed, that's generated.
Mm.
And then you look at the density of the foliage and stuff like that. This is literally Crisis level tech on a procedurally generated world. It's just crazy, and look how the trees, cluster naturally.
Yeah.
You
grass.
Like
grass.
Individual grass.
The grass is insane. The grass looks like an actual grass. That's that. As much as people joke about the grass, it's like it's the best grass I've ever seen in a video game.
Yeah. I think it's the next scene here. Might be the next one.
This one.
Be mistaken. No. It must be the one after this. Yeah, I'll call it out when it comes up. But like, can you imagine what it's gonna be like when your ship comes in and just the grass dispersing?
Yeah.
Like in the engine passes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're in a storm and the rain and the wind and like a lightning strike and a fire in the grass or something like that. Like you can start to see how this how we always talk about the tech blending into each other. Like it's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I expect no doubt eventually there will be massive wildfires. It is something that they would want because it just makes the game so immersive.
Far Cry 2.
Yep, massive fire before you attack a base, or even just as a distraction.
Yeah.
So start to see the cliffs there now. You're starting to see that that cliff deck up on the top left there. The scene I'm looking for still hasn't come up. I thought it was a lot earlier than this. But yeah, it's just, man, like I don't think people are ready for this engine. You get a game out that can do this, and nothing else is going to compete. Like they're going to want to buy this tech off CIG.
They don't have the ability to support it, but I wouldn't be surprised because as someone else pointed out, this is Crysis. It does run on Crysis. It's basically the Crysis engine, the Cry engine, but it's still very modified. But yeah, this point still stands is that was handcrafted mostly. So yeah.
God damn it! Why wasn't it bringing this? I just want that one scene to come up, but it won't.
Let me skip through
with the cliff.
I mean, it goes for it's not just a cliff. Like you can see trees in it, you can see cliffs and paths going up the side of this cliff, and it's just like it's got little shrubs.
I thought
it's got little shrubs that go up the mountain and stuff like that. No, I just haven't seen it. I've been watching the whole time.
I do like the different textures of like little color spots where you can see where the like this is clearly like a mining node. Like this is a mining node.
It's around 4 minutes and 34 seconds, or around that mark. I just found it.
Okay, this one right here.
Yeah. So look how it's just all naturally blended. Like it goes cliff, but it also then goes plateau again, and you've got trees on the plateaus, like where the plants are actually would physically grow, they're growing, but then they're not over biologically grown over. But then you've got weird outliers, like this massive tree up on the top right here in a tiny little spot. Like it's randomized in a realistic way, but then the cliffs themselves also don't look like fully 3D, like they're just a chunk. They actually blend. So they've got this, a surface level integration, but then they've also got a vertical integration, and that's just what takes it to a completely different level. It's almost like it's a voxel grid system. Right? I don't know how they've done it.
It is a voxel grid system.
Yeah,
it is voxel. Okay. This is voxel based. This is one of those they've been working on for a while. So,
yeah. But it but it speaks for itself. And that one shot, I just like that one shot because it shows so much in the one shot.
Yeah, and it makes point. It makes a point because like sometimes you will see stuff like this where like a tree is growing out of the rock. It's like, well, the trees wouldn't grow like that. What are you talking? Why is this here? It's like because it's like from distance it looks fine. When you get close, it looks weird. So,
but if that is truly procedurally generated and no human went in and touched it up, that's some impressive shit.
All right, Genesis. Talking about Genesis, Galaxy. We talked about the Galaxy. Dusty, what are your thoughts on the Galaxy coming out next year? Do you think it's going to have everything we want it to have?
I don't think it'll come with all the modules yet.
Okay.
What's the minimum it comes with?
The cargo and the medical.
I think the minimum is cargo, but I'd agree medical would be the second.
Yeah,
one,
medical's like no new text required to create the medical version, especially now that they already have the Apollo as a example of med rooms.
It's just time, isn't it? But really, aren't you just taking? You're essentially taking the Apollo, and you're essentially just rejigging what you've already got there to put, make it 3 unique rooms that go into one module, so to speak. The rooms for the Apollo.
Let me close this down. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pull it up. I had it up earlier, so there you go. Galaxy. X. Your thoughts? Do you think it's going to come out with all of its modules next year?
I kind of agree with Dusty, to be honest. I think you got to prepare for the worst and kind of hope for the best. I think if one doesn't come, it's probably the manufacturing one. Again, the refining one, I think they really need refining before base building, kind of crafting. You can get a small crafting in like they're doing because those people are going to have to go to the refinery all the time. But it shows that there is now an utter need. As soon as that crafting lands and it's in March, the next gameplay that goes to urgency is refining. And if that's literally in March, you'd have to assume it's not that far behind, right? Like I just can't see why they'd be waiting. And how complicated is it to essentially add? Well, there's 2 ways they could do it, right? They could add rooms to outposts that allow you to refine. So maybe you can go when you're talking about your junkyards before, Dusty. Can you go down to the junkyard now and they've got a refinery down there? So do they expand the locations of refineries, or do they leave them to stations and just make it so you can build your own with base building? And that's my brain goes to that more than even building the expanse, because it's just a room. So you've only got to build the inside, not the exterior. When you build the expanse, you've essentially got to build a room, but then you've got to build the exterior, which is the expanse all around it. Plus, we also know that ships that are doing refining have to have an added gameplay to speed it up. So that's actually more work, not less.
Do you think we'll ever have physicalized like the commodities that you're refining? Because right now it's going to be like, here's some boxes, put them in the refiner, and here come some boxes out, right? It's similar to the reclaimer, right? It's like you got to generate a box. Like, is there ever going to be? I guess on the planets, you could see the nodes, right? That you're mining in the raw materials that aren't in a box yet. But once you've broken it down, now it's a box in your mining ship.
So
and then
what you're asking
goes to the refining ship, right?
What you're actually asking us to do is essentially guess what the gameplay is going to be, and that's all I can do at this point is guess, because they haven't really talked about it. But the only one I can think of is the game. God, what the hell is the name of that game? Satisfactory.
Yeah.
And you know how in Satisfactory, how you could put multiple things in and then different things would come out. So the gameplay is literally, you've got this many, I think they talked about 8 mini refineries on the Expanse. Was it 8?
Yeah, I think
4 or some shit. Yeah. But you've essentially got to rig them up in such a way. So the gameplay is rigging up the refinery so it has outputs. But then if you stuff it up, you've got to spend time to clean it out and that probably requires resources as well before you can use it again. So you can't just sit there endlessly doing it. You've really got to work it out, or you're going to run out of resources to clean them out and use them again. Because again, if you put hot gold into one, and then all of a sudden you put hot plastic into it, it's going to mix and it's going to stuff up. So you're going to want to clean it out so you can use it properly. I think that's the only thing I can envision, or how I would design it. Right, and you got to remember, I'm not working on this game, so take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But that seems to make sense with me, where you've got multiple mini refineries. How do you maximize that? Well, here's something. I'm out today, and I've got a lot of copper around me, so I'm going to do a lot of copper. But by the same token, if I add copper to this bit of coal that this other guy that he's been grabbing, then I can make.
Yeah, but the question is,
whatever,
is it worth it to actually physicalize copper and gold and aluminite as like an actual item rather than a box? That's the question.
So I think you have like an area where you make it, right? You mix it. So you're mixing copper and coal or whatever, but then I think you've also got to turn it into the final product. So do you pour it into a mold and turn it into an ingot? Does it go into a storage container that is just a sphere that holds, because it's a gas?
Yeah.
Like, it really depends on what the output is, right? And I also think that you're probably going to get different refineries, ones that do gas, one that does liquid. You get where I'm going, right? So again, it's very complicated because they've talked about all that. We now have confirmed that they do have liquid and gas and solids, right? That's the thing that we saw at CitizenCon. They showed the different types of things. So I think there's at least 3 different types, right? Now, does that mean there's 3 different refineries and 3 different storages, or just 3 different storages? Again, we don't know because they've never told us, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the variation in the crates you're talking about, right?
Yes.
They have like those crates that have liquid or
exactly.
Okay.
So you can connect a lot of dots, but you can't give a definitive answer on how it's going to work because we don't have all the dots. We've got enough to hang ourselves, literally, but that's it.
I think the answer is we probably won't get much of anything in terms of individual, because there's too many commodities and too many things for like you can get to have individual like models for those like raw gold or like even refined gold. I think it'll always just be. I love Satisfactory, and I love everyone loves a good conveyor belt game, but like I don't think CIG is going to make a conveyor belt game. This is. No.
You're mishearing what I'm saying. Remove the conveyor belts. I never said anything about conveyor belts.
No,
you're putting words in my mouth.
No, but that's what
I'm talking about.
Like, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, I think all of the stuff you just said is going to be on a computer screen that you hit buttons for, not you physically pour.
Yes, I didn't say anything about physicalized. Yeah. I just said you've got to physically have the machine in your ship to use it, right? That's what I meant, right? And again, I'm only guessing, right? So take it all with a grain of salt. The way I look at it, though, you look at the Expanse where it had multiple refineries, but they were all smalls, right? But then you look at, say, something like the Galaxy that had 2 large ones. So I think you can look at it's a little bit like salvaging, where the Reclaimer is quantity and the Vulture was quality. I think it's almost the other way around, where the Expanse is a little bit of everything, but at very low quantities, because it's dealing with lots of little customers, if you think about it, right? Little Johnny turns up with his Prospector and he's got 4 saddlebags of copper. But then you deal with the literal Expanse, and it's dealing with other bigger, massive ships, and they've just gone, we've got 50 metric tons of copper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why it only needs 2 refineries, but they're large. And then I think you'll get something in between with the mediums, and where maybe they have 3 or 4 or something like that. So basically, the more you go up, so I'm imagining the Orion, right? Will have, because it's a refinery, it's probably only got 1 or 2 as well to deal with its own shit, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm going to be the hopiest. I'm going to be the optimist of this, which is take the hopium and say, I think CIG is going to have all of the modules that they've sold released with the Galaxy when it comes out. I think that's their plan. And we all know CIG's plans sometimes blow up in their face. So
I hope that is the case.
Yeah.
But I've got more and more skeptical as I've watched this game, because here's the other thing. I was sitting at CitizenCon talking to a couple of devs, and they said base building's coming sooner than you think. And what would that imply to you? I thought that it was going to be here by this. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, it's next year and it ain't here.
Yeah.
you know. But then again, we also saw prototype gameplay of base building, right? So it's further along than what you think. You put an art pass on what we saw at that CitizenCon. I can see it being ready for this year. I really can.
Monthly reports mentioned that everything that you saw at CitizenCon was in 2024 was working in game. With developer UI, with coder UI as of like March of this year. So like, like they have some version of it, but we all know how CIG works. They'll have a version of it and they'll be like, I don't like it. Let's refine it, or let's do this. And sometimes it's like back to basics and pull it back up and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah. All right. You can craft hopium in game. It's tier 0.
They so need to make them some resources, don't they? Like hopium and copium, and they give like an extra 5% to luck or something like that. That'd be amazing. Just a better chance of crafting.
Let's pull up the whole B. Let's talk about the whole B. Let me pull that up real quick. I'll start with you. Execute on this one. Whole B. What are you expecting?
Actually, please do Dusty first, so I can get you a picture. I have a.
Okay, Dusty. Whole B. Your thought.
All right. Fully landable on the ground with 512 SCU. I'm so excited.
That's huge too.
That's a big deal.
Put in context, that's close to an ironclad in terms of. Or no, it's close to a a Star Lancer.
C2.
No, it's C2. You're right. Yeah, that's a Hercules level.
Yeah,
a tiny ship with a Hercules.
I think it's a bigger ship than people think. I think it's gotten bigger. I don't.
Can't be bigger than a whole
trying
sea,
to figure out. No, it won't be that big. But you know, I was thinking it was going to be a little bit longer, maybe than like a Freelancer Max, but in the original configuration. But now I'm thinking it's going to be more like the Apollo size, maybe.
So I've sent you, Paul, the whole bee landed in its original concept image. It's probably the most wasp-like or insect-like of the whole series.
Yeah.
And then the second one was a 5-second crayon sketch that I did in Photoshop. But I think it shows you my idea of how it's going to land with the X configuration. It's the only one I can think of that makes sense to me, because how do you get the boxes to go back to horizontal and vertical? And so basically it flies like on the left, and then on the right, they fold up like that. And so they're not actually in an X, they're a little bit separated. So you essentially get the two middle struts go up towards the ceiling, so to speak. But when you put the boxes on, they're all vertical and horizontal like a grid, if you can think about how it works.
Yeah. They're only on one side of those then, right? Because when they come together, there wouldn't be much room.
Well, the idea is,
that's what I mean. The idea is they're basically on like separated. It's not a true X. They're not on one spindle. Right. They're almost theoretically on two spindles, because they need to be separated so they can be pushed back together. But you got to remember, it's only got to be as wide as the 32 SU cargo container. I think to fit, or two. Like it's not as big. And again, they can go outwards. They don't have to go towards each other either. So literally, you could have both spindles back right up to each other.
Yeah.
And again, I
thought it only has to hold 16, right?
Yeah,
it only has to hold 16 size 32. So I guess it's not a whole lot of containers, honestly.
Yeah, it's like 4 per spindle. But like we've sat there and worked through the math, and that's the only one that seems to make sense to us from an X configuration, because otherwise the legs have to be ridiculously long and stuff like that.
That was the original problem, because it was originally going to be an X configuration, but it was like it's going to have to be like on stilts to land. So
Yep. And that allows you to load it really easily when it's landed, because you just load the central ones from either side, then load the side ones, and then take off and so I think that's the happy compromise. And plus it'll look cool when it flies with an X. It'd be mad. And Paul, you're the lore guy. Is the B that's the new one, or the A that's the newest of the lineup? I know the A and the B are newer than the others, but which one comes first?
They're the same, around the same time. The B and the A were both, as far as we know, the C, A, and B, and D were all made at the same time. But the C was the first one that was like developed, and everything else is a copy of the C. So
Yeah, if you look at the original concept of the A2, it was a lot more insect-like as well, and I think it lost a lot
Yeah.
of that insect-like nature. So the reason I showed that is I think it's going to lose a lot of that look. I think it's going to go somewhere between the A and the C. I think they're going to make it look more like an evolution. If that, I don't know if you guys agree with that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but
I think you can see it. Yeah. The one thing I
yeah.
will say about the whole B that I think is important is that I think it's the true hauler professionship. Like the A is the starter professionship
Agreed.
for it, sort of, because it's now that's become the Ox, but the
Mhm.
I think the B is the like the thing you're like, oh, you want to do space trucking, this is your ship,
Mhm.
because the whole C always feels like it's a space trucker, but
Yeah.
it's like a cargo vessel, like it is huge.
Yeah,
So
I think what you're trying to
Hard
say
to
is
fly too.
yeah,
anything above the whole B becomes unwieldy for cargo.
yeah,
You're
Mhm.
literally doubling down and going, "This is my jam."
yeah.
Like anything above the whole B, it's just going to get a little bit too big. Like 384 is still a lot. Like again, you get into the Hercules, like that's pretty big as well. And I think another ship we're going to talk about is the Raelian too, because I think that thing's
Mhm.
Let's talk about the Raelian.
ballooned.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah,
1 second.
That one bumped from 320 to 640.
yeah. So literally doubled. And I kind of look at that going, that must mean the ship's got bigger too. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
I picked up like 5 CCUs or upgrades for this thing because out of the ones that were announced, this is the one most likely to jump in price. Now you got to think about it; it's not that dissimilar to the price that the Hull C was.
Yeah.
And then it's all because it's also got the alien tax on it. So I'm almost expecting this to jump to at minimum $100 to like 320. But I would not be surprised if it goes up even higher. And you got to remember the whole C went from 350 to 500, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like so we do have precedents for it. I don't know. I'll put that back to you boys. What are you expecting the price jump to be on this one?
What do you think, Dusty?
I think you're right. Probably somewhere between 300 and 350.
Minimum, by the way. Minimum.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Minimum.
It does it land like the Sulin?
No, it lands
That's like a gorilla.
Yeah,
That's
it
like a
lands
gorilla. There's a picture.
I'll pull it up.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
Paul
I remember
Paul
that
prepared one earlier. Don't worry, he'll prepare it right now.
It's right here. I have it right here. It's on the.
Yeah,
This is how
it's
it
on the same
lands.
page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
what you should do is actually open the original concept page, Paul, because there's actually an animation of it. It
Yeah.
actually animates, and
How
it
it-
shows
Oh,
you how it
wow.
actually folds.
That's really
'Cause
cool, though.
You can kinda
It,
see
it is
there.
it is a very cool landing, how it's going to do it. It's still got those triangle configurations, but it's lost the hexagonal cargo pods that I think that was the original
Yeah.
plan for the Cyan to use.
Yeah.
So they're still going to be triangular. They're just going to be square 32 SU cargo containers.
Yeah.
And not that. But yeah, I'll get you the page for you. Hold on.
Yeah, I kind of shied away from it because I was concerned about it landing like the Sulin, and that thing is really hard for me to fly and land.
Oh, the Sulian. Do you know what? I've had people come into the game, man, when that came out, and they found it easier to fly than the other ships because of you were able to just take off vertically.
Yeah, the logical.
Yeah, it was just so much more Yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah.
always
So
smash into things leaving the hangar.
Yeah.
I
I understand why.
It's a challenge that
I'm with you.
for
I,
me.
I,
well,
I've learned how to fly other ships, so I can't really like fly
exactly.
that, you know.
Yeah, you got to kind of got to unlearn it rather than learn it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Man, I'm having trouble finding this concept. So,
I can find pretty quick.
yeah, well, I was looking, but it's not coming up. It usually is the first thing that comes up, but because they redid the website that, and a lot of things have, I could find the Raelian, I just can't find the concept. So, yep, I think they deleted it. Because I'm getting a dead page when I go to it now.
I found it.
You found it? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'll full screen it so people can see.
Yeah.
So you can see this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like landed, and this is the transition.
Cargo pods. Oh, that's a crazy animation, huh?
Yeah. and there's a really popular ship in Eve that flies like a star, and it's one of the most popular ships in the entire game. So you can see where the Saulians copied it from, though. They're just going. What's going with my phone?
I get a lot of text messages or alerts.
Yeah. Anyway, someone complaining about
That's
something.
cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this animation. This is nice.
God, how long ago did the Raylan come out now, Paul? It's been a
When was
now,
this
hasn't it?
posted? I'm trying to see the.
Before 2020, wasn't it, from memory? So yeah, how long have you been around, Dusty? When did you kind of start doing it all?
Well,
Get in the
I was
game.
real big in Elite Dangerous back in the day. I had got
Say no
an
more. We know
Oculus
how you got
head
here.
kit, and I was loving VR and Elite Dangerous
Yeah.
with the DK2 for a long time. But in 2014, I picked up an Aurora starter package.
Oh, you've been here a while
Just
then.
Yeah.
well, I played a lot of Wing Commander when I was young. I had a you know, back in the old days. So I really enjoyed those games, and so I wanted to be part of it, but I couldn't play it. Every time I tried to play it, nothing worked. So I just kind of abandoned it for a long time. And then I came back a little bit in around 2017.
So you dropped in. That's
you know,
really common. People drop in every couple of years.
Yeah.
That's been really
yeah,
common.
and then you know, it just they added the inventory system, and that kind of changed things a bit. It made it a little bit more of a game, you know, something you could do. But you know, and I've stayed closer to it since then. You know, not like a daily driver or anything, but you know, at least paying attention here and there. So that's kind of how I ended up.
Someone's asking what's a Sulian. It's a Sulin. It's the execute adds eyes to everything, but it's not just execute. It's a lot of folks add eyes to. It's not like the Raelian. It's the Raylan, and it's not the Sulian. It's the Sulin.
Proving my point, they should name him as I call him. But anyway, yeah. Well, it just doesn't. Ray
AIE
Len just does not
Raylan.
roll off my English
Yeah.
brain. It's Raylien.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's why I call it
Okay,
the I.
yeah.
But it's meant to be Rail
N
or Ray Len,
Yeah.
not Raylien. Right. And I had an extra I, so apologies. Sulien. Len. I get it, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's when you take a
Maybe because
native
they're
language
alien
and change its
shit.
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They want it to sound alien, and it does sound alien. But
There you
again, when you're an English speaker, you correct the grammar to be your own language. And it happens in other languages too. When you like, if you speak Chinese, they'll have trouble pronouncing certain English words. Like the hardest word for them is really, because they don't have R in their alphabet and they don't have L.
They have R, but it sounds
So
different. It's like how
It's
if you look
it's
at
similar, but
if you
it's
look
not
at-
the same.
If you look at Spanish words, like if you read
They-
read things in
they
Spanish, when
pronounce-
someone goes ha 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 ha, they don't say ha 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 ha. They go J-A-J-A-J-A because J is a
They
H.
pronounce it with a WH.
Yeah,
So they always say wee.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't. They literally put
I know.
W in for the
I know,
R and
X.
the L's. It's so funny. But
You-
again,
you
I get them to
asked-
practice that word and they learn it really quickly.
X
Really
to-
quickly.
To answer your question about the sale, it was sold in 2021, so it's about 4 years old. It's
Okay, it's not that. It's
not that old.
not as old as I thought. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that old.
Not a pre-2020 chip. That's my brain. There are two gates: before 2015 and before 2020. If it was before 2020,
Yeah.
2015, like the Merchantman, it's old as shit. If it's before 2020, it's old and needs to get updated, like the G12. But if it's post 2020, it's like, it's coming soon. So.
As an original Birchman owner like myself, Paul, when is it time for pitchforks and stuff? Is it when the Raylien comes out? We still don't have the banner measurement. Are we right to riot? Then is that
No, we don't riot.
allowed? Have we hit the peak?
We are as original Banner Merchantman owners. We are all of us, all Banner Merchantman owners are in a league above everybody else, and we're going to sit there and drink our tea, and we're going to be patient because we know that when it comes out, it'll be the best ship ever made, and everyone else will be jealous of us. That's the reason why we're
I think it's the oldest broken promise, because on that day when it was sold in 2013, it literally said it'll only ever be available for one day.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, to my memory, that is everyone talks about broken promises and all this type of stuff, but it literally said only available for this one day. And
I don't
it's
know.
then been sold.
I haven't heard
multiple
about that
times
one.
since.
I know they said other things like that, but I don't know that one.
I remember because I melted like 3 ships at the time
Mhm.
to get it, right? And then I slowly brought them back over the next 2 or 3 months because I want. Well, it's a one-off. Like I'm never going to be able to buy it again. It's super rare. It's big. It sounds amazing. Let's get it. And now it's available to everyone all the time, every 6 months. So it's just like, yeah, whatever.
Spanish, you can't say Caesar
It
or
has good
Aegis the same
loaners,
way.
right? It's worth it for the loaners.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say someone said Caesar. It's not even Caesar. It's Kaiser. But yeah, that's a different thing entirely. All right, so we've talked about the Raylan. We've talked about the Galaxy. We've talked about the 3 missing ships in terms of the silhouettes. We've talked about the Hull B. We know there's an Origin ship. I want to hear Execute's guess on what that Origin ship's going to be.
D12.
Here. You think it's just D12?
It's the likeliest contender.
Okay. I think it's going to be a new ship.
I think it's a new ship too.
That's what everyone's on Hopium would like to think.
Hey, you know what? Origin hasn't had a new ship in a long time. And I think...
I will give you some credence, right? If there's a new Origin ship coming, I'll also say this. Then we're getting more shop ships.
Yeah.
And the room system is a part of base building, so I would not rule it out entirely.
And on top of
it's
that...
either the G12 or a shop ship.
What is a perfect ship to release in a year where it seems like the main focus is going to be on gameplay, like crafting and building and those sorts of things? An Origin ship. Because Origin ships aren't combat ships. They do other things. And an Origin version of the Clipper? I mean, come on. Or like an Origin like 500i, something in between the 400 and the 600. I mean,
hey, you're in Delulu if you think that they're ever going to release an Origin ship with gameplay, Paul. What are you talking about, bro?
That's why we haven't had one in so long,
comes with
right?
nothing. No, that's
gameplay.
well, I've been like a lot of people say I hate an Origin, but no, I really want them to do stuff, and I think it's when the shops come in, they're really gonna like. There was that thing. Remember when they released this the Saulian actually, and they had the. I've got it somewhere if you want me to send it to you, but it literally showed that Origin is literally half commercial and half luxury.
Yeah, the original 600, as you said, was originally a hauler. Yeah. I would kill in the Origin in the 600 rework if they actually released a third version. It was just the hauler version. That would be cool. I think that'd be cool.
The generalist version of the 600i.
Yeah, it's
600i G.
It's just it's just the 600 with all of the amenities ripped out, and it's just a giant cargo bay, in the back. Like an Asgard version of the 600i, like a step up from the Asgard.
Right, just empty.
Yes,
with a big back ramp.
Huge back ramp, and so you can carry 4 tanks in the thing or whatever. So. Has Origin commercial brand as well? We're only explored luxury brands. It is a commercial brand. We just never have seen their commercial brands because the main focus has been luxury. So
there you go, Paul. I found it. Took a while, but I found it. I knew I had it saved somewhere.
Yeah, I thought they were only luxury. I had no idea they had commercial.
So these are the tiny little things that you got to find all the way along. So this was released on an ISC talking about the Saulian when it dropped as the starter ship at AIE like 2 years ago. And as you can see, it doesn't have every manufacturer on there, but you can see Origin down there is halfway between high design, which is what luxury is, and commercial. And commercial are shops.
Yeah.
So I would fully expect to see a MISC shop ship, which is around about middle of the road or maybe high end, and then an Origin being high end. We already have the Banu Merchantman, which is a high end as well, and we have a low end in the Privateer. But again, if you look at the numbers, we have 10 shops in the Privateer, and we have 8 shops, or is it 12 and 8? God, I can't remember the numbers now off the top of my head. But the point I'm trying to make is they are a lot closer together than you'd expect. So I think we're going to see a whole. It's really going to show that there are tech levels in the game. It's something that Paul and Algrid and I and a bunch of the other guys have talked about for years because they're in the files, but they've never been talked about. So when if you look at it from a basic level, if I have a taco truck, now do you think you would see a taco truck in an Origin ship or a Drake ship?
I would say Drake ship, but
yeah. But if I had a high-end Michelin star restaurant, would I see it in a Drake ship?
Yeah.
No, I would not.
No,
I'd see it in an Origin.
ship, yeah.
So there's a and then if you do something middle of the road, like in an Italian restaurant, well, it wouldn't be in Drake and it wouldn't be in Origin. So that'd probably be in maybe an Argo or a Misk or something.
What I'm hearing, X, out of
What
all
is the
this,
Misk commercial ship? I see Misk down there, right in the center. Is that?
But we don't
what
know.
is-
We don't know.
Oh.
But it shows that there is likely one coming. Yes, I agree with
To
you.
me, commercial, I always picture like commercial airline, like passenger.
Think about it in industry and commercial. Do you remember SimCity?
Yeah.
yeah,
How you had the different zones: industrial, commercial, residential.
yeah.
It's like that.
I think the commercial is
So it's shops.
It's shops, but it can also be things like light industrial that it's mostly focused on your own stuff.
You could have a shop that sells
trading.
the mining heads.
Oh, I know it's commercial.
So it's literally
the whole
a commercial
series.
industrial.
The whole series.
Yep.
Because it's
Yep.
a trading ship. You trade stuff around. You don't
Yep.
build things. Industrial is but building things. You know.
But again,
so
having
commercial
three
is
different
trade as well.
Yes.
So,
But having
yeah,
three
the
different-
freelancer max, the
tech levels in the game,
Mm.
you are more than likely going to see 3 different class levels. I don't know what do you even call that. What do you call that, Paul? Quality levels?
Yeah, I think
high
quality.
quality. Look, high design, low design, medium design.
Yeah.
Like
Tech
they do a
levels.
lot of things in threes when it comes to design, right? So, and we found it in the files. It's low tech, medium tech, and high tech. They've talked about it before, and then copying that over to shops, I'd expect to see the same thing. So, an industrial shop only needs to be low tech, like Dumpers Depot, or the one that we saw. How low quality was the one that's in Nick's Paul that you saw with the foundries and all that, right?
Yeah.
But then you go to somewhere like the refineries that are in Stanton. I would say they're a medium level.
Yeah.
Right. And then by the same token, you go to Hurston, I'd expect to see something like look at the stuff around the tower. That's high design, high quality. But then you can go into town where the salvage stuff is, and that becomes low quality. So even in one zone, you can get multiple different shop qualities. So again, if you're going to set up and be able to do all the shops that you want to do, funnily enough, medium's probably going to be the sweet spot. Because it'll probably allow you to do high and low, some of the high and some of the low. But that's the drawback. If you take a high design, you can't do the low, and if you do the low design, you can't do the high. You can see how it creates the gameplay itself, can't you?
We knew this was going to be longer because X is here. So,
sorry.
but I do want to go over the next 2 ships real quickly because this is all good discussion. The last 2 ships that I can think of, and chat might be wrong on this one. Well, there's the last question I have is going to be the big one, but the next question. The next ship is the Stingray. We know the Stingray, which is the
speculate away, Dusty.
The Kruger ship. What do you think, Dusty? What do you think we're gonna get?
Yeah, that's gonna be the Kruger Hot Rod.
Think it's gonna be a hot rod, like a racing ship?
I'm thinking like the Corvette Stingray.
So you think fish, and that Spinks?
No, he's thinking.
No,
the
think of the Corvette Stingray.
There's literally
the car.
a hot rod called.
Show me a picture. Picture, please.
Yeah,
picture. Sure. It doesn't exist.
All right. Yeah, I think it's gonna be just a hot rod. I don't know if it's gonna be racing, maybe racing.
Because up until this point, all the Kruger stuff has been highly tied to World War II airplanes and engines and shit like that. So yeah, that would be a diversion from the naming conventions.
Chris also loves luxury vehicles.
The L20, the L series, the 21 and the 22, open them up for hot rods because those things are just gorgeous.
Oh, you think
this is a 2024 Corvette?
Oh,
Stingray.
look at the older ones, like from the 70s. That's modern, but
but
I guess
that's just proof that it exists.
Yeah, they had a different look though back in the day that gave it the Stingray name. The front was very wide.
Show me the older ones because I'm more likely to believe that too with the other stuff. Because again, I think the game was based around World War II in space, so I'm akin to go to older than newer. Yeah, okay, now I see it. Yeah, I see that curve.
Yeah,
and the like it's almost like the 2 outer wings of a Stingray.
Yeah.
Higher up.
Yep.
You know, it flows through the.
That's where it got the name.
I can see it now. I can literally see where it got the name.
Yeah,
I'll give that to you. 100%.
Because I was thinking,
even if it's not a hot rod, I'll give you the look. I reckon the look
would be similar.
Those 2 outer curves could be similar. So I think you're onto something there, Dusty.
I think you're probably going to see. That's probably going to be part of the style design, where they'll take a look at like the Corvette Stingray, and they'll also look at like World War II planes. My hope, this is probably complete hopium, but my hope was the original Vanguard was supposed to be based off of the P-38 Lightning, and it didn't really. It eventually sort of became heavier and became more like other heavy fighters of the era. So it kind of lost a little bit of that lightning effect. I think they could take the Lightning as the basis for a medium fighter from Kruger and apply that Stinger, because it's, again, if you look at the P-38, it's got that sort of like maybe giving a P-38 some swept wings to give it more of that sort of like the animal Stingray design, maybe a little hot rodish. So you might have like a faster version of it with like the kind of the tails, twin tails in the back that are connected, that kind of thing. So
like crossing
it was confirmed as a medium fighter. Is that what
no, we don't know.
No.
We have no idea. I'm just going off of medium because they just made the light, so I'm assuming it's going to go medium. So
and Paul's on the right train of thought though. Everything they've made has essentially been like a high designed combat ship so far. I'm hoping for an interior, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think we're gonna see one. I think you're right on the money, Paul. I think it's gonna be some kind of medium fighter. It doesn't catch me as a name for a heavy fighter, but it does catch me as one for me. And again, I got nothing to go on other than feels and vibes. But I can see the look of that car, the Stinger.
Yeah, with Stingray. Yeah,
in the front, and I can literally see the double wings you're talking at the back too. I can see that as well.
With a bit of a front, so you can kind of see the front of the cockpit sort of back a little bit by like it sort of into the
bubbled
center.
up on top.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, bring up the concept images of the Wolf.
If I can
Was there
find them.
any there that lean into that at all? Because one of the things that we noticed was when they did other concepts, they often borrowed pieces from earlier concepts. It was a very common trend. So, and I remember there was one that kind of looked a little bit like a Cutlass. Might not exactly be the Stingray, but it might lean into the Stingray. Might just be food for thought for, as we were saying at the start of the show, Dusty, like if people can see it, it's easier to kind of speculate. So you see what I mean there? There's a few there that lean into that double thing you were kind of talking about, Paul. Just a few. Yeah, well, also D, also the engines on C, F. Have you muted yourself again, Paul?
I have, because I was my clicky clacks. So
yeah.
So
yeah, Dusty, any of those take your fancy?
I like C. I think C looks the most like a Stingray because Stingray has a single tail and a wide front. So I think C could be it, or something similar to that.
If you chop the two engines off C and then put the back of, say, something like D or F on the back of C, so it's like that front swerve kept at the front, and then the double engines at the back, you'd kind of get what Paul was talking about and what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And again, it does look a little heavy. Let's be honest, A looks like a light fighter, does it not?
Yeah.
But you look at some of the ones like B, D, E.
Yeah.
Almost most of them, they don't look like light. They look heavy
or medium.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So you look at them and you basically go, like it. I'd bet some money that was not just a concept for a light fighter. That was a concept across the board for a bunch of them.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they took some of that, because they do that often, where they take a look at the older concepts and see if they can't reuse them. All right. The last two questions I have, because we want to move on to the next part, because we're only at an hour and 30 minutes. There are two questions. For so far. There's two big questions that are out there. I guess before we get to that, we'll actually go to the one that is almost certainly going to come out, the Ironclad. Your thoughts on the Ironclad. Execute. We've heard your thoughts a lot on this one, so I want to start with Dusty on this one.
No problem.
I don't think we're going to see it next year.
You don't think we're going to see it next year?
Nope.
Okay.
Get the fuck out.
I
Why would you
think they're
think?
working on the command module, and I think they're working on it, but getting it all out, I don't see it next year.
Hmm. I
You know
disagree.
why?
Go ahead.
Why
Let me
would they
tell you
work on the
why.
command? Why
Can
would
I
they
tell
work
you
on the
why, though?
command? Yeah, well, just why would they work in the command module and then not release the ship that uses it?
I'll
Good.
tell you why I think that. During the video they just did recently, they were talking about the parasite module, the command module, which
Mhm.
implied the ironclad, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was quick to say, "No, we didn't say it was coming next year." If you go through the transcript of the recent ship episode, there was a lot of backpedaling
Yeah.
on the ironclad. So I
Okay.
don't think it's going to be ready.
I still think it's going to be ready only because not only is it the command module thing that it was working, they got it working at the very least. I think it's they're at a stage where they're going to rapidly develop it because it's still in white box. It's been in white box since
Mm-hmm.
like July, but it basically is leaving white box as of October, November. So that puts it at typically 2 or 3 months before they release it from white box to gray box, and then about a month between gray box and final art because we're lot zero, and then lot
This
zero
is a
followed by
big
final art.
ship. I think it's going to take
Yeah.
longer.
You think okay?
A month for a small ship, I think, is
Okay.
expected.
Well, I'm gonna lay some facts down. Right?
Go for it, X.
So
All
when
right.
we sat
Here-
down with John and Ben at CitizenCon last year, he said all
Mhm.
ships take 18 months to go through the pipeline, but a pipeline can pause, so they can take, in fact, longer, right? So
Mhm.
theoretically, if it had been 18 months since this thing entered production till it released, it should have released it Invictus this year. So it's got an additional 12 months beyond that. Also, if you look inside the monthly reports, there are fully textured images of this thing, to the fact that they even had the Aurora in the hangar of the Ironclad.
Mm-hmm.
This
But
thing
they
is
showed off
coming.
the
Still,
Aurora.
that looked gray box. That wasn't.
No. These were fully textured, activated panels. They weren't grey box. They were fully textured, laid out, new textures that we had not seen before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced.
All right.
Okay.
X.
But
remember we always
so
say.
I'm just leaving it there.
Remember we always say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, leave it right there. I'm not gonna say anything. Just gonna leave it right there.
So let's get to the.
I hope so,
Yeah.
but you know.
I get you. I get the.
And the
the
assault
fly
is
that
waiting
you-
on features that don't exist. There's features needed for the assault, so we may just get the base one if you think it's that
but
close.
I'll take that and I'll raise you the flipper. I mean the clipper.
The Clipper, yeah, because of the
the clapper.
because of the
Clipper does not have fabrication and it's in the game.
yeah, and the assault's supposed to have
Yeah.
that, so you know.
March, we're gonna have it.
Because technically
It's right there. It's right at the cut.
Yeah, as long as it can transport vehicles, technically it's got a version of its gameplay in the game and it's good to go. Right?
True,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could pull that off. I think they're trying to get away from that though. I still
Yeah, well,
think,
again, I think it shows that they didn't want to release the Clipper when they did. I think they wanted to have their intent. Remember the Raft?
Yeah.
The Raft was meant to come out with the bloody cargo rework, and cargo rework didn't come for 2 years later.
Yeah.
So it's intent versus thing. So they were intending to have crafting by now, but it just didn't pan out because it's two different teams and things go wrong.
At some point, they did think that they were going to be able to do a tech preview of crafting before the end of the year. This year, they said. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's further along than we
Engineering.
think, but because engineering slowed it down because it needed more work.
We were meant to have the first test of engineering. We heard about that in June, July,
Yeah.
and then officially we said, "Oh, soon." And then 2 months later, we go, "Oh, it's August," and then it was October, then it was November, and I didn't end up playing it until literally like the end of. I think the first Nidakari test was in November sometime,
It was,
and it's only
Yeah.
just released. That's a 6 months delay.
Yeah.
I'm shocked though. I did not expect to have engineering this year. As much as they were trying, I didn't think they were going to pull it off.
Well,
I was
one of the
shocked.
things when I was in Evocati, and I think most people that have played in Evocati will tell you, it's cut back a lot. They've pulled other systems back to simplify it, to remove the shock value. Because I think it would have been like the first thing I played it, I just turned to Argrid and Paul and said, "We're not ready for this. people are going to be playing like en masse, because it's like you take what happened with master modes and dial it up to 11. Like, it was way more. And even look at the reactions that have happened since it's gone live, and the reactions since it went to P2 for everyone, and how people reacted. It would have been worse than that.
Yeah.
And I think they took it fairly well, considering, right? So bringing it in stages has been a wise move. And
yeah,
I'm gonna give you the last big one. This is the one because I thought I didn't think didn't hear Dusty's got a. I like that. I like it. Got a controversial opinion. I love it. I love it. Gets more people to talk.
I've got 3 more ships on my list. How many more do you have?
I have
on
2. I have the the Liberator. I want to hear this real quickly. The Liberator and the Kraken. What's the other one you have?
I have the new Grays Market ship they talked about.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There is also a Argo medium salvager that's coming. And
is that the orange
medium
salvager?
battle
large.
cruiser? What about the
Is
battle cruiser?
They have a large orange salvager coming.
Yeah, which is Argo.
Doesn't mean it's Argo. Doesn't mean it's Argo.
This is where
There's
Execute.
more than one manufacturer. This is more than one manufacturer that's Argo, motherfucker. The orange.
This is where Execute is got an unpopular take because he's been saying it's like CNOU salvager for a while.
Why wouldn't they just call it a large Argo salvager? Why would they call it a large orange?
Because brains fart like that.
Mislead you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because all the Argo ships are orange. You don't need to say Argo if you want to.
What color is Solid Outland? What color is the Pioneer?
It's orange, but it's
like white with red trim.
Yeah.
No, it's orange, bro. Go look at it. It's orange.
It's white with orange, but it does have a lot of orange to it. You know.
Mustang Beta.
I now forgot what I was going to say that was related to what we just. Crafting. No. On the roadmap roundup.
Yeah.
Crafting coming March. So you were saying the Ironclad doesn't have the crafting? Well, it will by March.
No. I'm talking about the vehicle repair bay.
That's crafting, my friend.
It's
got a fabricator in it that builds. Yeah, it's a small fabricator that builds the little components, just like the Clipper.
Yeah, it's a fabricator. It's the idea behind it. I even talked about it since then. Is that it's a fabricator designed to replace vehicle parts. So so it's like a bigger fabricator,
like a garage.
Yeah, no. It's
repairs it, kind of like they're adding to some of the ships. They said they're going to add the ability to repair and refuel.
Yeah.
Just hand tools. A lot of them will be hand tools. The Liberator talks about repair, and it's only hand tools in the Liberator.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Was
Charlie answer BLD?
I don't think the BLD is coming next year, but we'll see.
Well, if base building comes, the build automatically.
The build. I think the build is done. I think the build has been done since the
CitizenCon last year.
Since the TAC has been out, at least because they probably took a lot of the information they learned from when they built the Max and the TAC to sort of improve it. But that's one of those where they built it, they put it on the shelf when they're waiting for it to come out, type of thing.
I picture the TAC med bay becoming the crafting room.
God, I wish I
could see that. Yeah,
Grim, are you still in chat?
He's probably not.
Grim, if you're in chat, send me the image. Well, he was in chat before, but he had this image that had all the manufacturers they mentioned in that talk. Because I actually did an episode with him, and I can tell you right now, there's one that both you are missing because you got all hyped up for Origin. Was Aegis. There was only 2 on the list,
right?
Well, that's not a. I'm not going to go there to speculate because let's be honest, that's more likely Anvil. But when we went through all the manufacturers that they listed, there was only 2 that we couldn't seriously link, and one of them was Aegis, and I'm trying to remember the other one, and I can't remember what the other one was. But
I posted the list in the chat.
Okay. Oh, please, that's great. That's what I wanted.
The Grays Market, that was the other one.
Yeah, so Aegis is one of them. Anvil is most likely in my book the battle cruiser because we've wanted a big Anvil capital thingy for years, and if they give us another Aegis, I think they'll see riots. Drake is a given. It's probably just a variant of the Clipper. The Gattack, well, that's the Raelian. The Grey Cat, well, that's the MFC. The Greys is one of the 2 other Grey ships we've seen. They've both been done for years and they're in Squadron. Kruger is clearly the Stingray. Misk is clearly the Expanse. Origin is either the G12 or a new ship like we talked about. And RSI is more likely
the Galaxy and the Aurora.
The Galaxy or the Aurora, yeah. So they
all
stand out except Aegis.
You think the Expanse is coming out?
Well, again, they talked about you need refining for base building to work and crafting to work. You've got to have a way to feed it in.
Yeah.
It's a link in a chain. You take the resources out, so you've got salvaging and you've got mining, but then you got to refine it. Do you really want people going to a refining station all the time and then coming all the way back when they can do it right there where they're going to be crafting or base building? No. So you really need something, even if it's just tier 0 where it just automatically does it, you need a ship or a room or something like that. And I think the Expanse is the easiest option because it's the smallest one.
Right. But if the BLD is just a fabricator or crafting, and crafting is coming this year, is that something different?
Let me give you another piece of advice. There's also the Galaxy.
Yeah.
The refining module on the Galaxy, right? So by doing
Which
the
isn't
Expanse,
coming out next year, though.
How do you know?
He doesn't think so.
That's my take on it, is that we're not going to see refining until the planet tech is completely in.
And my take's the other way, because if you get the Expanse, you also most likely get the refining module, right? And they want to have the reason why I think this way, right, is they need it ready. Think about the state that Star Citizen's in, right? It's not the best state, right? Now you're going to bring out a AAA game called Squadron 42 that's a single player game. How much of an opportunity are you missing at the end of that game if you cannot go, oh, by the way, continue the story in multiplayer in Star Citizen? They want this game, Star Citizen, to be at the best level it possibly can be within when Squadron releases. And I think that's why you're seeing there's going to be a lot more gameplay coming in. And I think they've been working in think about how much crunch they've been on, to the point that they did a 2-hour video of a CitizenCon. That was heads down, asses up, everyone all year long. And we saw some massive roadmap things finish. We saw base building and crafting. They had 2-year sprints end at the end of this year. You know, you had the inventory rework. We've got the social stuff coming. This is the foundational gameplay basis of an MMO. They need to get that going, man. And I've never seen so much movement of heads down, asses up. Paul, I think you'd agree.
Yeah,
you read the you know, I know normally when you talk about this stuff, it sounds really positive and you're white knighting and all that type of stuff, but we are getting to the end of all these things, you know, coalescing. And the example I always give is you've obviously built a jigsaw puzzle in your life before, Dusty, right?
Yeah.
Now, does that speed up as you go along, or does it slow down or stay the same?
Yeah, it depends on the part you're working on, depending on how big the puzzle. But yeah, as you go and you see more of the picture, it gets easier. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're having less parts to put in as well, right? And you start kind of recognizing more pieces and they go quick. Well, making a game or running any project is exactly the same. As the little groups finish their things and another piece goes in. Oh, wait, this part can't go in because this part's got to go in first. Well, that goes in and then 4 bits quickly wrap in after it. It's exactly the same with a game, right? So we're going to see this rapid thing where we're seeing dynamic server meshing coming in. That's something they're going to get in. We've got new level tech coming in. Like, you're starting to see more and more features snap into place. And it's not going to coalesce and be the perfect game, because they've literally said they want it, you know, Star Citizen 1.0 is like 2027, but they want to have enough gameplay there to try and convert as many people over as possible. Paul, I put back that to you because I sound like a crazy person.
You do sound like a crazy person. Because one of the things that I would say I'd push back on is that game development doesn't get easier the closer you get to finishing it. It gets harder the closer you get to finishing it.
I didn't say easier or harder. I just said that more and more goes in.
Yes.
Right. Literally, you get to 90%, and the last 10% takes as long. As hard rather as the initial, because you're polishing and trying to find all those bugs.
Yeah. I do think I know what you're talking about, though, which is that a lot of what has been holding back development for features has been the other features, like things like server meshing, and they needed to harden server meshing to make sure it works and that kind of stuff. I just think you're being over optimistic. I think it could be happening, but I also know CIG is entirely prone to buy their own bullshit, to buy their own hype, which
they're going to try and they're going to miss.
Yes.
I agree with you.
So
they're going to try.
I worry about the Expanse like the Starfarer.
Yeah.
Because I think when the Expanse came out in concept, I think refining was exciting, but refining is not exciting.
Yeah.
The Expanse
No, it's
isn't going
not.
to sell a ton of
But they-
ships. I just don't see why they would put any effort into that.
Because they need refining to make base
Crafting
building
and
and
base
crafting
building.
work.
Yeah.
But they
You need
they
it. It's
have
a
refineries in
requirement.
the game already. We have
Yes.
refineries in the game.
Yeah, yes. So what the middle ground is, like I've talked about this with many people, by the way, right? So if you don't do the Expanse, what you do is you allow the ability to build your own refinery with base building. So you've initially got to go out and go
Right.
backwards and forwards from the refinery several times to get enough so you can build your first refinery at your own location, and that's a stopgap.
Yeah. That to
Right?
me that
I
makes sense, but
totally give you that. But
the
if you can then
Expanse is
all,
a tough sell.
but if you put a tier 0 into the Expanse, you see where I'm going, right? It's not
Yeah,
that much
And
different
that's
from
the
the room.
only way you can refine certain materials.
Yeah,
Maybe if they
so I
can
don't-
limit it somehow.
I don't think it's coming with the gameplay, as in like that. You know how we were talking about the gameplay before, like
Mhm.
satisfactory or whatnot, right? Or any whatever it turns out to
You
be.
just
I don't
hit
think it's
button.
coming
You
with that. I
hit,
think it's
you
coming.
hit button and it goes, and you just let it be.
You
and let it
basically
be.
put it in your you basically put it in your cargo bay. You press a button, it sucks it all in, and then it spits it all back in the cargo bay type of thing. I think that's all you're going to get.
But
or
refining
something akin
takes
to
so
that.
much time right now. Like
Yeah.
if you think
And
about
that
when
was-
you drop everything
again-
off at the refinery, you come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Usually.
what? So what if they when you're using a ship or using your own room? What if they just double the speed?
Yeah. Make it faster so they can encourage people to get the
So
to get
that
the ship.
motivates you to buy your own or buy your own ship.
You know.
Yeah, that's what they need to figure out because
Yep.
Refining is not like a fun thing,
Yeah.
Like I don't get excited to refine unless there's some
Yeah.
gameplay that they create around it, which
It's-
I don't think they're going to do anytime soon.
Again, I don't think it's required, but again, never judge what a gameplay is going to be because you don't know what's going to be until it arrives in most cases, right? I was thinking about Agrid. He brought all these mining vehicles and he thought mining was going to be his thing. And he saw me talking about the Reclaimer, and then the Reclaimer landed, and now he just does salvaging all the time. He loves salvage. But you ask him, he's like, I never thought I'd like salvage, but I don't like mining. Like he has all these miners and he doesn't use them. He goes out and salvages instead. So, and I've seen people that were like essentially like ace combats. I remember talking only a year ago to an org leader, and he was going, "I've got this problem. My main military guy is," and this is back when we had the Hercules test in engineering. He's like, he wants to stop doing combat and he wants to do engineering instead. Because again, how do you know what you're going to enjoy when the gameplay's not there?
Yeah, it's really difficult.
You could literally, from what you've just said, you said refining sounds boring to me, but the gameplay could drop and all of a sudden that is your favorite gameplay.
Yeah.
You just don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll have
There's
to
no
see.
way to tell.
I know.
The thing.
Speculation.
The thing is, I would say this as an example is when I played Elite Dangerous, I thought, oh, I do trading in Star Citizen. I want to do trading in Star Citizen. When I play Elite Dangerous, I'll do trading.
Yeah.
I hated trading in Elite Dangerous, so I ended up doing combat.
Mm.
I'm not much of a combat player in Star Citizen, but I am pure combat in Elite Dangerous when I play it. So, it happens. It
Yeah,
depends on what hits you. But we're gonna have to get back on track here because we've got a lot of stuff
All
to
right.
talk about still. Because you brought up a bunch of other things. You said you think that it's going to be the battle cruiser is going to be Aegis, right? Dusty?
Me, Aegis or Anvil. I can't see anyone else making it.
Okay. X, you're still saying Anvil.
I think Anvil is the preferred, but it literally going on the ones that we have, it could literally be several hands of manufacturers that do it. The top content, the only one above what Dusty said would obviously be RSI. Because they make
true,
the Bengal and they make the Retribution and shit like that.
Just because they're
Can
selling
someone
it.
explain what battle cruiser means?
No,
versus
battle
the ships
cruiser-
we have. What
Well,
does that mean?
I will tell you this.
Battle Cruiser is one side is between the Javelin and the Bengal. Is
Yes,
what it is size wise.
sort of. We have no idea what the role battle cruiser is for Star Citizen because the destroyer in Star Citizen works like a cruiser in real life. The frigate in Star Citizen works like a destroyer in real life. So battle cruiser could be a battle cruiser or it could be a battleship in the terms of its context. All we know about it
This
is
is
we
a
have is-
concept sale, right?
it's just a
But
concept sale.
all we have is the size because it was meant to be. So this is the other thing. It was actually promised that they would never sell the battle cruiser. The battle cruiser was meant to be like the Bengal, and you had to earn it in game, right? And when they talk about it, you'd have to bring up the original concept funding goal pool to get the accurately. But from the way I remember it is smaller than the Bengal, but it's larger than the Javelin, right? So if you're getting a Javelin for $3,000, I'd have to imagine this thing's at least $5,000. Right, and again, it's not a promise, but they basically said it was meant to be in game only. So it's kind of another breaking of promises. But they've done that heaps now because they've just needed to fund the game. Like they were never going to sell the F7A. They were never going to sell the Lightning. And they've done it again and again and again at this point. So it's clearly for funding.
I'm trying to find.
And again, the last place you could do a concept at sale is Invictus. Because the game Squadron should be out by then, and
I don't even see the Kickstarter. I'm looking at the Kickstarter right now. I'm not even finding the stretch goals.
I think you'd agree, Dusty. It's not on Kickstarter. It's on the funding page. Where is it?
I think that was it. Was it funding? Still there?
I've got it. Yeah, it's just it's under here. I'll just send it to you. I got it. There's a link in Discord, Paul. There you go.
All right, let me look.
And it's number battle. It's 16 mil. Star System will feature an additional fireable ship class, the Battle Cruiser. And then I think you've actually got to go look up wiki stuff and stuff like that. But it was literally talked about in one of the 10 for the chairmans or one of the question shows back in the day. I don't remember where things are from anymore. I just remember the information because it's too much to hold in your head. And that's why me and Agro do the same thing. So if he's remembering it exactly as I remembered it, usually it's factually correct. But then if someone makes us sit there for 14 hours to find it, we will do that. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. Unlocks the special ship upgrade, and then you also unlock the additional flying ship class in the finished game, the massive battle cruiser.
Wait, where's that?
That's the letter from the chairman that's linked on that goal on the right-hand
side. Read chairman's letter? Okay, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, check that out. There's a little note.
Yeah. Does it say anything about the battle cruiser?
No, it's just that one sentence that I can see so far.
17 marks on a special upgrade pack. Every pledger to donate for this point. An engine modifier to be added to account shortly in near the future. You should be able to see in your hangar. Also unlock the additional flyable ship class. Finished game, the massive battle cruiser. I will say, I do not think we're going to see the battle cruiser next year. They might sell it next year at Invictus, but I don't think we'll see it next year.
Yeah,
I think it's
a concept for sure.
Just a sale. But the reason I think it's the last concept tales too is once the normies come in with Squadron, I don't think they would accept concept sales.
No, that's what they've said. So
yeah.
It's their last shot.
I think there's
essentially
two more ships I want to bring up for next year, and we'll tackle because we're already at 2 hours. Execute as firmly as argued. We're gonna whatever it is. We'll talk about it in the next segment because we this is far too long as it is.
It's a ship. It is a ship.
We'll talk about it in the next segment. Go ahead, X. Let's fuck it. Let's go for a 3-hour fucking podcast because Execute doesn't know how to shut the fuck up at times. So
yes. Disco almost leaked another ship, and he said Mark II, and he went, "Ooh,
yeah,"
like that. And if you look at what would, he literally mentioned the Aurora Mark II and a Mark II, and then went, "Ooh,
yeah, another Mark II, yeah.
Right." So there's another Mark II, right? And I think the two contenders in my book are the Freelancer and the Connie. Because they are the original 5 and they're the biggest reworks.
I think the Freelancer's probably.
Well, it's RSI year, so it's going to be the Connie, not anything from MISC.
Oh, wow.
MISC is literally in the list, bro.
Yeah, but MISC, we know the whole B. The whole B is going to come out.
And why is it?
Why the whole B?
And the other thing is, they don't do years. Like again, when we sit down with Ben and John, they just do things on what they feel. And they try to spread people around, so they're not doing the same shit all the time.
The only thing
they do try
The
to spread people
RSI
around.
kit is ready to go, and
Yes, all that
the
does is speed it
Apollo
up.
is the Connie. So I think they could do a Connie Mark II pretty quickly.
I also think though, however,
An Apollo Mark II.
no, he said a
Really
No, the
quickly.
Connie Mark II would resemble
The
the
Apollo.
assets used to build the Apollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a Connie.
Here's
because so Mark IIs, when they talked about Mark IIs, they're generally an external rework visually. That's what
Yes.
John Crew literally said, right? So it's got nothing to do with the interior. It's the exterior.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No, I do think
It'd be a Mark V if it was a Connie.
yeah, that too. But
Actually, there already is a lore-wise, we're already up to the Mark VI in Connies. But
yeah. That's what we were saying. But the reason why I don't think it's a Connie is because the Connie sucks. I love the Connie, but it doesn't have any engineering interior. It has no space for engineering interior. It all of the problems it has right now needs a rework, not a Mark II. It needs a ground up functional rework. And the Freelancer, even though the Freelancer itself does need an interior rework, the Freelancer has functions. It has engineering. It's one of the ships with engineering. And so I could see them sort of doing what they did with the Mark I of the Hornet and kind of going, yeah, if you enjoy it, we'll support it, but we're going to stop working on it. You know, go enjoy your shitty Hornet. We'll have the new Hornet, which is better. I can see the same thing happening with a Freelancer, where instead of just trying to redo the interior and making it work, they're just going to make a better Freelancer and then keep the other Freelancer around. So that like, and then that would piss me off because I think the Freelancer is perfectly savable with just some small tweaks. But I also think that
it's mainly
I just don't see them taking on Misk right now.
Yeah, well, it could be. It could also be coming from. It could also be coming from their work on the Expanse and the whole B. Because, like, you know.
Well, you got a good point there. I can't argue that.
Oh, I could also see the Avenger Mark II. That could be the Aegis. Is that an Avenger Mark II? Because the Avenger.
True. Very popular.
Super popular. So.
I can think of several ships actually. What if they did a Gladiator Mark II? Like, there's a whole bunch you could sit there and go, oh, this. The main problem with the Freelancer though is it doesn't need 4 people.
No,
it clearly medium has really become 2 or 3 people. It doesn't need 4.
And I'd love if the Max had a little tractor beam in the back, like the Zeus and the Cutlass Black.
The only one that really needs 3 people in the Freelancer is the Miss.
Yeah, because you need
what I call the Misery. Yeah.
The Misery.
Yeah, I've always called it that, but people get confused. I make up words for a lot of things, like I called it the Flappy Bird for a long time, but then it became the Clipper, and so now I call it the Flipper.
Yeah.
You know, just stuff like that. But they stick.
Does the Dur get refining? I love the Dur.
The Dur gets refining.
My favorite variant outside the Max.
Doesn't the Dur have a thing similar to the Origin ships where it can extract?
But it also
it's not a refinery.
But it is also
it's not a true refinery. I thought there was a refinery.
No, it has a true refinery on it. It's also a refinery.
Oh, okay.
So it has the same problem as Starfarers. Where the hell do you put resources to make it refine? I think they might just do the magic box thing where like it just pulls resources from the cargo bay. I think there's going to be some. That's an example of things where, especially I think next year, we're getting into a different territory here, but I think we're going to have to get used to the fact that some things are just going to be gamified because the process of making them immersive or realistic is just so complicated and time consuming that they're just like, fuck it, we'll just make it. It's a video game. Deal with it. Beams for everybody.
Or the whole ship.
You know, the
whole ship needs a massive change and it's too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the crafting inside of ships will just pull from the cargo bay.
Yeah,
I don't think you're gonna have to move boxes and put them inside.
Well, very simply, you could just make it so it's like a door that you put the cargo in and close the door.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Or, but I think that's a lot of work, and I think you'll just see them blip out of existence and into into the crafter.
At least initially.
Yeah.
At least initially. Yeah.
All right.
You should have them teleport out with a beam.
Yes, beam. There's the two that I wanted to talk about, which I thought were going to be the most controversial ones. I'm glad we got some other controversials. Was the Liberator. We'll start with the Liberator. Do you think it's coming out next year? We know it's being worked on. Is it coming out?
That's
Dusty?
the light carrier, right? Is
Basically.
that what that one is?
Yeah, that's
I'm
the one that
trying to
has
remember.
Photo Paul, photo.
Oh yeah, I'll pull it up. It's a good idea.
Yeah, so the Liberator being a light carrier, I struggle with the point of that ship.
As does everybody else, bro.
That's why it's not built yet.
That's it, mate.
All right.
So, do you think it's coming next year, or do you think?
Because it has been under
If
production.
it is, they've got to do
production.
something really, really special with it if they're going to bring it out next year.
Yeah. Paul, I don't think it's coming. It only just entered kind of production, minimum of 18 months. Do the math. It's not coming to, and it'll probably get delayed and stuff like that. And it's only pre-production, so I honestly think you're not seeing this until like the end of 2027. At the earliest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Liberator was that originally its role was the shipping ship. And the problem about the shipping ship is that in a universe with 100 systems, it makes sense. In a universe with 5, it makes no sense.
In every ship can quantum to any system.
Yes.
That's something that bothers me a lot. I feel like some ships shouldn't be able to go through wormholes, and they would
that's
need
how
a
it used to
carrier
be.
like
Yeah, that's how
it used to be. And
really?
that's well, give an example. One of the ships that didn't have one was 100i, and they added it. And if you go look at the 100i now, it awkwardly has the jump drive in the nose.
Yeah,
right. I noticed.
So there was a lot of those smaller starter ships didn't have jump drives. The Hornet didn't have a jump drive.
No,
right? They had to go back and modify them. That's probably why they got Mark II'd and stuff, because they couldn't add a lot of the components into those older ships, And so basically they've just decided to change it, and now all jump points are the same size, where they clearly had different sizes before. You go Star Map, please, Paul. There's my evidence.
This is my show, not yours, dude. Stop giving me orders. Pull up yourself, goddammit.
Hey, I am the teacher now. I am.
All right.
But yeah, you go onto the star map, and literally you can turn on different size jump points.
Yeah.
That kind of proves my whole point.
We also know that that's not going to be forever a thing. Let's get this thing.
And you got the transient jump points now as well.
Yeah,
so
and they wanted to change the whole. Why is it giving me this weird like? There we go. That's weird. Okay, see if I can't pull this up properly. It's giving me this weird resolution error thing, so I'm not going to bother with it. It's causing too much trouble. But yeah, the idea that there was originally multiple size jump points, and then they removed the size jump points, which was sort of like the indication that they're trying to change things around. The last
Tier 0 jump point.
Tier 0 jump point. Here's the last one. This is probably the more controversial one than the other ones, which is the Kraken. Are we going to get the Kraken next year?
No.
It has been in production for a while. It's been over a year since it entered production. So 18 months would put it at the end of next year.
But entering production and being worked on is two separate things. And it's easy when we're about to hit a big ship sale to talk about ships going into production, because it makes people buy them. So, it's
clearly
hard for
they've
me
been
to get around that.
Clearly they've been working on the Ironclad and the Kraken at the same time, but they're not going to release an Ironclad and Kraken on each other. I think having either the Pioneer or the Kraken ready to go by the end of the year is probably the goal. But again, I don't think it would be both. And I don't know. You tell me, guys. What do you think would attract more people to the game? The Pioneer or the Kraken?
Especially in the year of crafting, I think the Pioneer would be the big one. But they'd have to have base building out.
Yeah, I think base building and the whole. Yeah, I think that is the biggest draw.
Yep.
The longevity for players in the game.
Yep, and then this is the next part of it too. That also allows them to do the space stations. Now, I just don't see the space station stuff coming until 2027. So in my book, I think it actually puts the Pioneer back. If someone would again, we can do a poll if you want. Poll. I like to do polls. If you want to do one, you do one. But what do you guys reckon if you had to pick between the Kraken or the Privateer? We might not get either, right? But if you had to pick between the Kraken or the Privateer, if you're placing your bets like black or red type of thing at the roulette wheel, which one would you vote on? Kraken
Pioneer or
Pioneer?
Privateer?
Yeah,
The
sorry,
Pioneer,
bipolar. I mix up my words. Yeah, but Pioneer or Kraken. And I lean towards Kraken more, even though the Pioneer started production a whole year earlier. I think the fact that they talked about the Forge being paused makes me think that the Pioneer was paused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because they share almost exactly the same gameplay. Well, why did they pause it? Because they've realized that whatever the reason is, something's caused it to stop, and they've probably gone, well, what we're going to do is just get in the low-level base building so you can build your outpost. We don't need this big behemoth that can do all those things and the spaceport. Let's just focus on what we need. So they've just paused it, and again, visually speaking, I think you guys would agree that Kraken sold a shit ton more than a Pioneer. So again, I don't know. Yeah. Paul, Dusty,
I don't think either are going to come in. I think the biggest ship of the year, because they said it was going to be the Galaxy. So
yeah,
I just
did say
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. So we're getting neither.
Yeah, I think we're
your votes don't matter. Paul's just validated everything. You're good.
I mean, so far it's been the Kraken for YouTube, but Twitch it's the Pioneer.
Yeah, but out of those two, I would assume the Kraken would be more appealing as a generalist. It's kind of you could do more with it for the game in its current state, right? Knowing that the only thing that Pioneer really gives you is the spaceports, but the spaceports I think are going to be delayed. I would hope gameplay-wise, though, that you'd see the Pioneer before the Kraken, but I think we'll all be in agreement, knowing the Galaxy's coming, the Pioneer probably comes with, at the end. And they did even say that Pioneer would not be coming with base building. They did say that back when it was went into production. So there's just no need for it, knowing that the Galaxy can possibly do some of it, the build can do some of it, the CSVFM can do some of it, you've got the pod thing that can do some of it, and whatever other ships that they bring out this year that can probably do it as well. Right? So we've got enough there to get us off the ground. And I just keep coming back to the refining, though. We're missing that refining element. And if it's not an expanse, right? Maybe they make a ship that's simpler, Dusty, to pull it off. Maybe it's a variant of a ship that we already had. Maybe it's the Clipper. Maybe there's a ship like the Clipper that's a variant that just happens to be a refining element. I don't know.
I have the solution, which I have been holding them back on saying, because I think
please.
I think it's gonna be what they do, but I don't want them to, which is just like crafting. They're just gonna create a mobile refinery that you can stick on your ship and then store it.
Absolutely.
And so it's the same tier 0 refinery, but you feed the mats into the refinery on your ship, and then you store it and you just forget about it until you come back and then you pull it out. Like it's
that works.
So
anything that works.
Yeah. So you don't have to do a ship for it. You just have a thing you can plug in and go and just do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Most crafting ships should have a built-in refinery. I'd imagine they'd have both in the same ship.
But also noticing, if you remove the Pioneer, the size of the buildings come down to just outposts.
Yeah.
You don't need the biggest refinery either.
Yeah, you just
You can so when you bring in the Pioneer, then you can bring in a I don't know, what would you call a refinery ship that's like capital size, Paul? Like they've already taken Forge,
Crucible, which they've already taken. Oh gosh, I gotta think about like big, large steel refineries. Maybe just a refinery. Just call it the refinery. to get more crazy.
Purifier, cleaner, smelter, distillery, plant, factory, clarifier, or refiner.
I could see smelter, a smelt.
There would have to be a Drake ship.
Yeah. I think it's there's an old. It shows up in
the fumigator.
There's an old. It shows up in video games every so often when you were making steel. It starts with a B. It's not, I've always seen it before. It's like a
Bellows.
not
The
a
bellows.
Not the bellows. It's like
Oh.
it's like almost like a belfry. It sounds like, but it's not a belfry. It's a thing that's used for smelting steel or the making steel, but it was used back in like the medieval eras. So
Backsite or Bauxite?
not backsite. Bloomery is what they're talking about.
Bloomery. Oh yes, Bloomery. Yeah, that'd be a good name.
That'd be a good name.
Yeah,
The Bloomery.
I remember that. In Eco, that's how I learned about the Arastra, because in Eco they used an Arastra, and it was a name that we toyed with, but it's so hard. It does not roll off the tongue. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because it's a type of metallurgical furnace used widely to smelting iron from its oxides.
Yep.
Yeah. So, bauxite is aluminum ore. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we ended. We kind of went all over the place. We covered all of the ships we could in terms of what's coming out. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go over to our question and answer session here shortly. Thank you to Dusty Star. Make sure you check out its Thrusters and Dust. Check out. They also have a Patreon, which is a great place to go to because you release those great PDFs for those sort of like manufacturer's guides for various ships, right? Then you can check out Execute myself on the Infrunners, twitch.tv/the-Infrunners, youtube.com/the-Infrunners, and Dusty, it's just YouTube, right? For Thrusters and Dust.
Yeah, I'm just on YouTube. I'm planning on to start streaming next year.
Okay.
So that's my big goal for 26. I'm going to do the Factory Service Manuals live show. So
Nice.
it'll be a 1-hour ship show that deep dives into a lot of the details.
Always
It'll
cool.
be fun.
All right. And for those of you
call it ship brochures.
Ship brochures.
Ship what?
Ship
It's
brochures.
play on words if you think about it.
Oh,
Change the word, add an extra letter, and you're right.
Thank you for joining us. If you did enjoy this, please join us live, twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/@the-Captain's-Table podcast. We do this on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Would love to have you come join us and ask your own questions, because next we're going to roll into the question and answer session where people would take questions from the audience. So for those of you watching live, hold on for a few minutes. We're going to take a few minutes, take a break, and go get some drink and eat. And then we'll be back. But those of you who don't, remember, like, subscribe. Let us know down in the comments your thoughts on any of the ships coming that are or not coming next year. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.